Here we are.
Hey, what's up?
Episode number 50. Usually try to be mysterious about when we're starting it off, but the thought that went into coming back indoors was impossible to ignore. Welcome back to the studio.
It's just crazy. This is weird.
Surreal.
It feels like you guys are too fucking close to me. I don't like this.
In addition to the first indoor pod, this is the first time we've seen society in a lot of ways and actually engage in a serious manner.
Guys, secret time. We had dinner together without our masks on. It was fucking
12 feet apart, of course.
Breathtaking.
Yeah, with our, in separate rooms. But still, I feel like we're getting there. We're damn near back to normal, right?
You had to throw the steak over by me. I was like...
We each tried to,
frisbeed it to you into your mouth.
Steak, not the easiest thing to throw to one another. But, you don't always want things to be too easy. Sometimes you got to work with things. Sometimes you got to make them special. Sometimes you got to really make it count and really make it happen. Hey, welcome to the 50th podcast.
Hey,
excellent.
Hey.
All right.
Very rarely in my life have I felt so useless. Which was the idea, I'm sure. It's just going to be my surprised ass going, oh, I'm in a concert.
I was curious on which face you were going to do. Of the, useless one or, excited?
I thought that, you were going to freestyle. I was hoping, along with that.
I was thinking, should I sing? I don't know. I'm not fucking Wayne Brady. I can't just do that.
See, we got to even surprise each other in
That's
life.
good.
We got to make sure we can keep each other guessing. But Austin, Matt, welcome to the Neverending Becoming's 50th episode. Back indoors.
Wow.
Long time coming. Episodes 1 through 19, notoriously indoors. Then 20 through 49 in the great outdoors of the Never-Ending Garden. But here we are, back again indoors. We got some categories. Let's do the categories. Let's stay honest to the new format.
You first. Mine's gonna go forever.
I'll give a quick one. These were prepared moments before we started here, so the most topical we could possibly come up with. And then I'd love for both of you to answer. Mm-hmm. First one, why don't you start with Austin? Album.
Collection.
Matt, what kind of album?
Yes, synchronized. I specifically thought of an album I was listening to recently. So
Who's synchronized?
it was Jamiroquai.
Jamiroquai,
yeah.
Okay, nice. Hell yeah.
Been going back to Jamiroquai.
I don't know much about Jamiroquai.
I think you'd really, really enjoy it.
You think we'd sync up?
Yeah.
Synchronized?
Especially
very close to Steely Dan.
Damn it! I missed it. And he looked and he had the eyebrow and
Let me do one
get the
more
next
and then we'll make our rounds. Matt, why don't you start this one? So then Austin, you have an extra half second. Lotion Brand.
Jergens.
Vino.
Amazing. Austin, you want to give us one of your cats?
For sure.
This is a nice insight into our psychologies. It's hard to know people.
Music or podcast?
Audiobook.
Podcast.
Yeah, I gotta go podcast. I gotta go podcast.
Should have said a specific one.
Yeah, I gotta go podcast.
And Animal Spirits. Finance podcast.
Your mom's house. I just love it.
Hmm.
I can't.
No, dude, go with the gut.
It is. It's my gut. It's my
Go
gut.
with the gut.
It's my gut.
I thought that was one of your words, Animal Spirits. I was like, oh, Wolfpack.
That's right. We've talked about Animal Spirits before.
Great song.
I saw it as a financial word, I think, at the time, and you thought it was a musical Wolfpack term at the time. So we all see
It is a financial podcast, though, isn't it?
It is, yeah, the one I'm talking
What
about.
other categories do you got?
Let's give us one more, Austin.
Vaccine proof.
Me, it's death outcome. It's just whether you live. It's more my current existence being healthy is my vaccine proof.
I was thinking more like waterproof. Like I'm resistant to vaccines. I'm vaccine proof. Like
They keep trying to stick you and it doesn't work.
It just doesn't work. Vaccines just don't work for me. I know for you guys, but for me, vaccines. I'm vaccine proof. It doesn't even work.
When the needle hit you, was it did it go back in like one of those fake knives, or did it like bend 5 ways?
It's like when you do it in a Superman, it just breaks off, ding, and just makes that noise and just snaps like a twig. It's like whoa, diamond skin over
This
here.
guy's vaccine proof.
Yeah, it's fucking vaccine proof.
Diamond skin. We're combining my financing. Diamond hands, diamond skin.
Diamond hands.
Too much. Well, I hope you guys don't have diamond skin. I hope you were able to get normally vaccinated, because otherwise we would be...
Oh, that needle went right in smooth, baby. Right in smooth. Just like a hot knife through Jello. Really.
Like they dipped it in Jergens right before.
Yeah, Jergens. I got a little Jergens and then the shot. I'm sorry.
And then you got one more for us. You want to give us one more? We'll each do 2, and then maybe we can loop back to the other ones.
Well, I kind of... was just a little different. Mine's not really topical. I just chose the category overall late night host, and then I listed every late night host I could think of, which you can't see the card, but there's an impressive amount, I would say.
Hit us with like one.
Mm-hmm. Do you want me to go? So I have
an
different
odd one. Give us an odd one. We'll comment on that, and then we'll come back to some of the basics.
Okay, so I have categories within the category. So you have current ones, I have past, I have the Rushmore, I have old favorites, and then I have British ones.
Austin, your pick. Do you want Rushmore or do you want old or British?
I'll go Rushmore because I have a feeling old's going to be a little bit out of my wheelhouse,
Yeah, it might be
and I
too hard.
won't know who you're talking about.
So Rushmore, I just picked 4 of the greats, and you guys know these 4 like right off the bat. So we'll start with the earliest one first. We'll go. So Conan,
the masturbating bear.
Yep, self-pleasuring bear.
Is that what they're calling it nowadays?
I think that's what it was. Was it it was something the self-pleasuring bear? I thought it always was like
No,
that.
it was masturbating bear. But
I'm
I
showing
think
my
I'm in the
here.
self-pleasure era then.
So no, I think when he went over to the Tonight Show, he couldn't bring characters from the Conan show, so he had to recreate old favorites, and one of the favorites was self-pleasuring bear. I believe.
No,
I
dude, I believe it.
And I think he kind of rewrote some people. The next guy is going to be Leno, Jay Leno.
Austin, you go.
Take it or leave it.
I'm gonna say strong.
Yeah.
Strong.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Strong chin.
Yeah.
Strong love of
I'm too much of a
cars.
fan of Conan to like give him any compliment.
But like the thing that you
I can't hate Leno. I
No,
grew up on
Cars.
his.
You
I
can't.
It's
can't.
in Cars.
Yeah.
Let me rewrite one. Cars.
yeah, that's what he's known for now though, his cars.
Yeah.
And he
He
does
was
a lot
the
of stuff.
screenwriter for Cars. That's fucking crazy.
No, but he's in
Lightning McQueen.
Lightning
Cars.
McQueen.
He's in Cars, I believe, as a voice.
Is he?
I'm almost
He
positive.
should be.
Yeah.
Goddamn.
He's for sure in there's a show my kids like, Mickey and the Roadster Racers, and he is the announcer in it. And he's got a really over the top, he's like an announcer, but it's totally Jay Leno. And
He's
it's
in
all
Fairly
Cars.
Odd Parents too. He's in a lot of kid shows.
Yeah, he does
Or-
voices,
I bet you when you're one of those famous voice people and you go in for a gig, if you don't do an exaggerated voice in your voice, they get pissed off. Like, what do you think we hired you for, Jay?
Well, they want his voice. They don't want,
Yeah. They really probably want someone who's like is doing an impression of Jay Leno more than they want Jay Leno.
What's
right?
his first voice? What's the movie he first was in as a voice actor? Does anybody know? This is gonna be a real wild one.
Is it an animated movie?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's absolutely. An
I'll
animated
take
movie.
a B story
A B movie?
with,
No.
with Seinfeld.
No.
B movie? No.
It's called We're Back. It's a dinosaur movie with John Goodman as the dinosaurs.
Oh, yeah.
And it's this crazy movie where
shit.
they bring, and he's like the little winky guy, and he's like, oh my god, his voice is really high, like the Jay Leno voice that everybody mimics.
I forgot
He's
about
in
that movie completely.
That's one of my all-time
that opened
favorite
like a
movies.
door in my brain, floodgate.
Yeah.
I remember like the green eyes and all that stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Crazy.
It's a weird. The movie itself is so bizarre. It's like they make this this guy from the future comes and makes dinosaurs real, but he like cartoonifies them, so they're like not like mean-spirited dinosaurs. He goes back in time, brings them to the future, gives them the brain things to give him brains, and then his brother is this evil. He owns a circus, and it's like an evil circus, and he kidnaps kids.
So if they slap this on Disney Plus, would this translate well in the modern age? Is that possible?
I think it's a classic movie. It's really good. It's like really good. I love it. It's like one of my all-time. And there's a big parade. Okay, and then
It's
the
like
last
what they
guy.
did with Harrison Ford for Han Solo. They brought him back from the dead and slapped a little thing on him. Gave him a mind control pill.
Really?
Yeah, that was in Rise of Skywalker. Remember?
I don't remember that.
You're out of my Star Wars
you're out
lore.
of my wheelhouse too. I was like, what?
I gotta say movies number 5 and 6. I'm good, but then even 4, 1, 2, 3. Anyway,
Star
Matt,
Wars-
you're giving us the Rushmore, right?
Yeah, and then there's 2 more, and it's gonna be really obvious. Letterman. I don't know if you guys watch
Rebel.
Letterman. Yeah.
Rebel.
Yes, that's a great one. Yeah.
Non-conformist.
Yeah. Also another great one. Rebel, nonconform. It's a. Yeah, I would definitely say that. I would also say that he is a.
I don't get him enough. I don't understand Letterman fully.
I have appreciated him more thanks to YouTube.
He was like the punk rock,
Yeah.
late night guy of the 80s, right?
Everybody.
Like, fuck you.
Right, he was a rebel. So if you didn't like Carson because your parents liked Carson, so you liked Letterman because Letterman was funnier, he was more self-deprecating, he was riskier with his jokes. Carson was a lot more like your parents laughed at Carson, so you didn't want to laugh at what your parents laughed at.
Yeah, that's like
not
reminded me
cool.
of Conan and like Letterman.
And so when there's only 2 things, so you're watching, and then Carson, he was the late guy after Carson, so he was even on later, so he could do crazier things.
Yeah, that's a big advantage. That's why I love Conan growing up.
Absolutely.
It's like, God, Jay Leno is he's just shaking hands half the show.
And he's just, it was missing something.
Hey, all right.
And then, and that was the thing. Conan didn't replace, Conan replaced Letterman. That was the thing. That's what he came in to do, is replace Letterman. Okay, so the last one on the list is Johnny Carson, of course. and he is the, as they say, the king of late night. He is the model that everyone bases it off of. He was the guy with the desk and the thing. Is the model that literally the rest of these people have based themselves off of his model. So
I'll say for him. Do you want to go first, Austin?
Yeah, pioneer.
Yeah, I was gonna say consistency.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah, because he was consistent for not just like, oh, hey, here's like 5 or 6 years that a show. He did it for 30 years. He was on the air.
He wasn't, yeah.
Consistently every night on the air for 30 years. And to the point where like people wanted him to run for president. People wanted him to like represent them.
Oh, Lord.
And of course he was like, I'm a comedian, But he would have. He didn't want to do it.
He would have won, is what I was gonna say.
Yeah,
Landslide.
And actually, characters like him, I mean, this is the current iteration is The Rock, right?
yeah.
Something everyone can agree on, everyone knows. Like, we're desperate still for these uniting characters.
that are like uplifting, but also like enjoyable, seemingly down to earth, that you could like have a beer with them, as they like to say. I could have a beer with The Rock and we would talk and it would be fun. People thought they could feel that way about Johnny Carson. Like, I could have a beer with him. He's from Iowa.
I'd have a low-fat, low-carb seltzer with The Rock.
I was going to
any
say like a
day.
zero-calorie monster with The
I was
Rock.
trying to be realistic.
Sorry, he likes tequila. His brand of tequila, his specific brand of tequila.
Trey Manos.
Yeah.
Is he selling it, though?
Yeah, it's his. He owns it.
Well, I can never take it seriously. Like, I understand when people sell things.
Sure.
And they're behind it. Maybe they do appreciate it. They're a connoisseur.
Yeah.
To some degree. But there's something there. There's like a wall I can't. I guess what it is I'm saying for this, I don't believe that he necessarily loves tequila. Like that he's drinking it every day just because he sells it.
Well, I know.
Because with his body and his life, there's no way he's drinking a lot.
No,
he's
but
fucking in perfect shape.
he always does Sunday cheat meals. And with his Sunday cheat meal, he always has his tequila. And those are the. I think we talk about that?
I don't know about that.
I feel like I
that
talked
makes
about it
sense, but that's 1 out of 7 days.
Yeah. Right.
How much? You can't do that much damage.
No.
No, not
but
very
I
much.
I don't think The Rock is drinking every day. The way that man is like, puts the money and effort into his body.
He must drink on the rocks, though.
Yeah.
Right? He must drink that tequila on the rocks.
All
I'm
right.
sorry. I'm sorry, guys.
Is
Well,
that
we
it?
just did
We ended at 50. Good game, guys. Good run. Good
And
run.
that's it.
50
That's-
episodes
fuck.
of the podcast. Pretty fudging mind-blowing. Pretty unbelievable. Yeah, we're still getting our inside
bearings.
mic stand
The
acumen
now
back.
ending becoming.
I'm just going to smash James a bunch of times.
No, but this is incredible. So many podcasts you start, I'm doing a podcast, and, people, it's a funny thing now.
Yeah.
It's like you get laughs. Like people laugh at you to your face when you tell them in a way.
I was telling somebody at the DMV yesterday, we were just talking, and it was a great, and then midway through, I was just like, yeah, we did the stuff we did over COVID, and I was like, yeah, I started a podcast, like everybody's got a podcast, right? And she was just like, no, not everybody has a podcast. You have a pod. And I was trying to be a lot more.
What I was going to get to is that not everyone has a podcast with 50 episodes. This shit is real now. I mean, you have to average one a week all year.
Yeah.
And do it for a solid year to get there.
And we got 5, 50 in 3 years, right? So it's not.
Fuck up 3 years. Not that bad. A worldwide pandemic for 60 weeks, by the way, in that 3-year convenience.
Good Lord. Yeah, no, during the stresses and the hardships that we've dealt with.
The hardships in this troubling time.
Trying times.
I mean,
dude.
podcasts got me through COVID in a big way. And frankly, they've been getting me through any loneliness I felt in the last half decade plus.
The sound of people
It's
talking.
a big fucking deal
Very
for
calming.
me. I fucking love podcasts.
I do. I was telling Randy today. I'll be honest. I was like, I had a busy day today, and so we were hanging out. We were buying some shoes, and I wasn't feeling particularly like I don't want to go. I don't know if I want to do the podcast today. She's like, what? I was like, because podcasting just fills that hole in my soul. And today, we got some shoes. I got some books. I got with my, Randy. We had some alone time, without the kids, which is great. That hole is filled today. I don't know if you know what I mean. But
you're giving me excellent insider info as to how to keep your soul empty.
Yeah,
before you come and do the podcast.
Starve his soul. You need a starved soul on this podcast.
But ultimately, there is a hole that will never be filled.
The never-ending becoming.
Never-ending becoming whole. Never-ending hole.
Never-ending becoming filled.
Excellent. Right, but it really is mind-blowing. I just want to publicly, as public as this is, thank you guys for.
You see that
we
big
can just skip right over. We can skip
eye
right
roll?
over.
Come on, dude.
Go to this time code here to skip over this.
I get what he's saying. Okay, let's be clear. I get what he's saying.
Look back at the old episodes. We were sitting at this table in this room, looking very different, by the way. We were freezing our fucking ass off. We still have frozen our ass off for most episodes. It's been
Good amount.
Oh, it's been an excursion to survive the hour. I mean,
It's
over and over and over again.
Yeah, how many people through snow, sleet, rain have they done podcasts, right?
We got the receipts, man. We got the footage.
Right.
We
We
really
have the
do.
receipts. We have the pictures. We have the video of the temperature of the room somewhere.
Austin, do you know anyone like around your age? Austin's a little younger than us that has started a podcast. Like, do you feel like
A friend of mine did, and I was on it with.
you were?
But it ended, so it was very temporary. It
Here's
wasn't-
my question: Did he intentionally end it, or did it like fizzle out, fade out?
It was just him. I think it fizzled out. I think it was COVID ramped up harder. You know, it was toward the beginning of COVID. I went and I like wore a mask, and we were in a room with the windows open. It was not like, you know, it was in between that time where it started to dip down a little bit.
You know, you have more amateur podcast experience than the two of us because you've done multiple ones.
Yeah.
That's
we've only done
hilarious.
one.
You've done more, but I've done multiple, right?
What was it like doing your friends?
It was pretty good. I haven't actually seen him in a long time, but like we saw each other recently. He was an acquaintance, and then he's like, "Come on my podcast with Mason, my bandmate," and I was like, "Okay." And then we showed up. It was like we were honestly catching up, like while it was talking, and he was like talking about my band and
It's
stuff.
a great use of podcasting.
I think
just
so.
to
Interview?
like literally catch up with people.
But doing it like in a way where it's like we're recording it and you're a little bit more on, right? It's not just like, man, I'm not doing nothing. You know, now you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna tell you what I'm doing.
There's a camera on me. So what I'm going to do?
yeah, right.
And
right.
reflecting on this, I was thinking about why I love podcasts and now podcasting, being a podcast like maker, it raises the stakes in every conversation you have. You have to want to be smarter.
Yeah.
You have to pay closer attention, like try to listen more closely.
And you take those skills out of this really, like
Do
you
you feel
take it
that
out.
way?
Oh my god, literally, like I said, I was at the DMV. I met a relative stranger, and we talked for 2 hours, and I just felt like I was podcasting, and I was like, oh, this, I know how to do this, and it made me like, oh, we really haven't seen people for how many months, you know what I mean? So getting back used to talking to people, it's not as hard as it might be because it's like, oh, it's just I'm on a real life podcast.
You just got to
Not
pretend there's a Shure SM7B in front of
Right,
them, and you
right,
have one
right.
too, and everything's good.
but just naturally the give and take, right? It's easier to have a give and take with somebody and let them breathe and say the things that they want to say, and you're just kind of like,
It's like practicing the timing of conversation for sure. I remember when we first started, maybe like 5 episodes in, I was at work and I was like, holy shit, I can talk faster, more eloquently, overall better.
funnier. You're funnier
Communicate
too.
quick.
Like,
No, there's something like you open up these doors in your mind if you put yourself up to a task. And honestly, an hour-long conversation on, HD and now 4K film.
Yeah, now 4K.
4K SD. That's plenty to raise the stakes. That's plenty to get your brain somewhere new.
you can see I shave my beard because it's in 4K.
We're also trying a new thing where I have like the monitors where you can like look into the cameras and you can actually see yourself.
Camera
now.
1, camera 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
50 episodes in, we're not going to be as shy, right? We don't have to be as worried
Flop.
about.
Sorry, that's gross. Sorry, that's
I cannot believe you. You
No,
didn't make me laugh.
Dude, try it out. We got to see what kind of physical comedy works here.
Even in 4K, I don't think you'll be able to see it, guys.
We'll blur it out like the Death Grips album.
I need a micro scope. I don't know.
Yeah,
Macroscope?
Austin and I were listening to horrifying Death Grip songs earlier today in preparation for this.
In preparation for Chipotle and, coming here to do the podcast.
All the finer things in life to bring you the Neverending Becoming.
Superimpose a swirling glass of wine. Don't do any graphics for this episode. I know that's usually my thing. You're good.
Yeah, I might chill on the graphics. I was actually telling you guys I didn't even want to set up 2 cameras. I just wanted it to be like base stock.
And I was like, let's do, it's good. Want to, it's not like it's, it's good. It's a little closer. See.
This is the camera where like it feels like you're sitting in the room with us.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the camera where I don't know how you would describe that, but this is all
Bird's eye view. If a
Bird's
bird
eye.
was low, it's a bird's
It's
eye
more
view.
like the head of a flamingo looking at us. That's
Yeah.
what it feels like. If like a flamingo is standing.
Flamingo head's eye view.
Yeah, flamingo ocular view. I like that. That works with me. Well, we have to have like new branding and slang to make this podcast pop. you
Sure,
know?
of
Everyone's
course.
using bird's eye. No one's using flamingo eye,
Flamingo eye.
right?
The side.
That could be a hashtag. That
They
could
fly.
be-
They're not flightless. Do they fly?
Like glide.
I was saying flamingo eye, like flamingo eye view.
Oh, no. I meant like...
It says fly as a flamingo. That's another one we can
course.
start using.
It doesn't even
fly
have
as a
to fly at this
flamingo.
point.
They're just so stylish and pink,
They get the one leg up. Like it knows what it's really doing. It's got the one leg up.
With this pink garage, actually, if I was gonna get one lawn ornament, it should be a flamingo. Don't you think?
Absolutely. It would
Gnome,
really do one.
Maybe a gnome because I'm Scandinavian. That kind of like works on some level.
Too stereotypical.
Flamingo gnome.
Yeah, a gnome flamingo.
Gnome
Perfect.
flamingo.
Yeah,
A
there you
hybrid
go.
between the two.
Or just a flamingo with a gnome hat.
Matt, you were talking about like having that reunion with someone at the DMV.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was like a new societal experience.
It totally was.
Sounds like it was packed.
for
like
both of us.
everyone.
Yeah, it was incredibly the amount of the line out the door was just unreal. And like everyone's telling me, oh, you got to go early, go early, go early. it's fine. I'll just go at like 10. It's no big deal. And then I get there and I see like the line and I like, wow, that's a long line, right? Right. Okay. And then I get up and then I realize the line wrapping around the building. I was like, oh, that's a really long. And then it wraps back behind the building and around the fence. And I was like, holy shit. Okay.
I bet people probably, however on their A game they were to begin with at the DMV, I'm sure that they probably lost a couple points in terms of the skill set at this point. Having no customers, in essence, for a long time.
You know what? They were actually really good about it because the line was so long. They had people out there being like, "What do you show us your papers now, so that if they're right or wrong." So as soon as he looks at my papers, all 3 of the documents I brought, he's like, "Yeah, none of this is gonna work." So I was like, "Ah, shit," because I needed to update my license, and he's like, "Yeah, none of this is gonna work." And I was like, "Uh oh." So. Well, I ended up having a statement on my phone, so I ended up using my phone electronics, and they said the manager said that was fine. Luckily,
the manager of the DMV.
Yeah, like the supervisor. I
Mr. DMV.
Supervisor. Mr. DMV.
Jesse White.
Mr. Jesse White and his tumblers. Yeah, and that's I love the Jesse White tumblers. That's I was always a fan of those guys.
Kid I went to high school with was a Jesse White tumbler.
Really, yeah. It's like good. It's like you put it on your high school transcripts, and you're like it's good for colleges and shit. I don't know.
Yeah, still coming up on a podcast all these years later.
Right, Jesse White tumblers. And just at like
Austin,
a
do you have any idea what we're talking about?
Yeah, I know the Jesse White tumblers. I've been to at least one Bulls game.
Yeah, right.
That's
they do
right.
the Bulls
That's
games
right.
and
You
like
guys
the
are
Blackhawks games.
Bulls heads.
But yeah, the DMV was quite the experience. So yeah, and then the person behind me was somebody that I knew. I'd met him at a wedding, and I like recognized them. They took the mask off, and I totally and I was like, oh. And they also brought wrong papers, which made me feel so much better because I was like, oh, fuck, I wrote. And they're like not yelling, but like everyone's looking at you. It's not like there's any like partitions like in
you're
the DMV.
singled out. You're in a line.
Right, so you're in a line, and everyone's bored, so they're checking out what's going on, and they're like, "You brought your insurance expiring papers and everything." And
what was the vibe of the people though? Like, did it seem like everyone was more or less impatient than usual? Did it seem that people actually were banding together because this was like everyone was like had their dulled knife edge sort of feeling?
Yeah, everyone's there had shit to do. I didn't feel like anybody. And like I said, it was a good thing that they kind of got everybody organized before they were in the long line because they did turn people away. They were like, okay. And so he was explaining to me how there's some DMVs where they're not doing that. So people will go through that whole line and get to the desk, and they're like, "Oh, your thing's wrong."
Jesse White, get on this, okay? Stop with the Tumblr shit and actually focus on
Just
the
go
DMV.
to
have them tumble in the line and check the papers.
Just check out the Displains DMV, and it is much better in there. It's much better, more organized. But then, so she had the wrong. So she was going to go to the bank to get a thing, and I ended up. I was like, oh, hold your spot, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, because I recognize you, so
That's
no big deal.
Ballsy. Still holding the spot at the DMV with that many people. My God, I would be.
People looked at me, but I didn't care. I was like, do something. You know what I mean? Like, and not really, but I'm not like that.
It's only 500 to 1 at that point.
But I was just like, whatever. It was a nice thing, I was like, because I'd hope somebody would do that for me, even if it was a stranger. And you had to like, yeah, just hold the line because it's not like you're going anywhere. Everybody needs the stuff.
Yeah.
And if you were already waiting in the line, and then if you found out your papers weren't legit, like, come on.
But it sounds like par for the course in terms of society. I want to know what I'm getting back into, dude. That's why I'm asking. You were on the front lines.
Yeah, no, and
I want the heads up.
People seemed really chill. People seemed really chill. And then like us, like we were both vaccinated, so we took our masks off and we were talking, and we just both thought how funny it was that we were actually talking. It was kind of like especially for me, first like stranger conversation that has not been in my bubble or James or you know what I mean. Like I could probably count like maybe there's like 15 to 20 people that I've actually talked to like in not on through Zoom or in person, like maybe 20.
Got me beat by a baker's dozen.
Yeah,
Austin. Right. Got me beat by a whole baker's dozen. Austin, I wanted to bring up how you're here. The reason you're here. We're actually working together for a week on a special project.
Very special project.
Yeah.
We'll be out possibly soon. Who knows what happens with it.
But specifically, you came for a week. You're going to stay here, and we're actually going to work on a 4-song EP.
Yes, we are.
Yeah. Super exciting.
I'm very excited.
I'm very excited.
We just met up today, so we're still like breaking down the COVID walls. Yeah. We mentioned the Chipotle, obviously that did most of the work.
It made my comfort zone, my Chipotle. That's
the death grips did the rest of the work.
I was gonna say when Austin took that really sweaty shit in the bathroom and I just had to do it. It broke down a lot of walls.
It broke down a lot of walls, literally and figuratively.
No, it's good to get the vanilla candle out. Candle.
It smelled nice afterwards. You couldn't even tell.
Light a match there, bud.
But specifically, you got the MF Doom hat on too.
Oh yeah.
Do you feel like you're trying to channel some musical legacy here?
As much as possible. I mean, let's see. The only other hat I brought was a Dead Mouse hat, so I'm full of musical hats today.
But how are you feeling? Because we've for those of you that don't know, i.e. have not stalked the YouTube channel, Austin and I have played together in jam journals.
Or the beginning of this podcast.
The beginning of the podcast, but musically, talking on a musical wavelength.
Gotcha.
We you could view the jam journals where we used to get together every Tuesday and just like jam, just like improvise, play. You're an excellent solo.
The jam journals have more views, so people would know you from that probably more than the
Do
podcast. Yeah, they do.
I never counted.
I look at the channel, Austin. I pay attention.
I know, but again, comparing those things, it's like being like, that's the best looking piece of produce at Walmart. You know, it's just, it's still not looking that good. You know what I mean? In terms of the views.
Stickers peeling off a little bit.
Reduced price.
But I'm psyched as hell to be a producer.
Yeah, me too. I'm really happy. It's nice to have some structure. James is a very structured person. I'm very, historically very out and looking around, not really doing much. But I have the juices. I just need someone to put it in an ice tray and in the freezer. Freeze that up. Solidify the juices. That's
Drain you of your juices.
I've never heard a better description of producers. They got to take your artistic juices and freeze them up for the public, get them in these cubes ready for
so you
consumption.
can view it.
For public consumption. for human consumption.
But yeah, your main instrument, guitar. So we're going to be doing a lot of guitar-driven, at least guitar-layered type music. He plays it right now. By the way, thank you. Thank you for keeping it cool.
That's what the hum was. The volume was on.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll edit that out.
You can
I'll cut that right off. No, but dude, we had a problem with my little OP1, my sampler here. I was playing like a little drum machine type thing. It started playing a vocal chop ahead of you first. Did you hear that?
I completely missed that. I didn't.
Dude, it was
I
so
was busy.
funny.
I was laser focused on the guitar.
I just saw your face go and then.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's not right. But then I jumped in at like the next bar or whatever, and you were seamless, luckily. But I believe it was your voice.
Is that the one where I said COVID,
Yeah,
more like move it, and then I shouted? Oh, that's one of my favorite bits we came up with. That was a good one.
But yeah, that was hopefully a fun little preview of what's to come this week.
What is to come?
Everything that we work on. We even sat down together and did like a production meeting. I talked to him about like, how do you want to eat? How do you want to sleep? How do you want to live? What's your intentions? All this stuff.
I'm
like
really
we're trying to take it
excited.
super seriously.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what's going to come out of this.
He's going to do the same thing with me for my exercise regime post COVID to make sure I'm getting in 4K shape.
Physically fit. Yeah, right. So the angles are just cut. Everything's cut.
Going to be a lot.
It's good. You make a lot of music, but I'm excited to see it in a different, you know what I mean? Like somebody, like you said, filtered through James, right?
Yeah.
Like it's going to be really interesting.
Yeah. I feel like more and more the older I get, I'm more into creative constraints. So, we're just going to use what we have here. We're going to have to finish these 4 songs in 7 days.
Too much freedom is not always a good thing. Too much creative freedom, you don't, you need constraints. I feel like we've talked about this, but we need constraints.
You get that decision paralysis type thing.
Yeah.
There's too many options. You're not going to be able to make any decisions if all the decisions are, not even there.
Are you watching me watch Netflix at night? That's because that's what it sounds like. I can't make a freaking decision. You know what I mean, I get really bad at making decisions. Like there's too many options.
I was talking to him specifically about decision making and how you have basically the best way to describe it, I feel like, is with points. You have like points to make decisions. And once you spend them, you're kind of fucked. So usually at the end of the day, people are just eating like shit, doing whatever like shit. You have no points anymore. Like that's why Obama only wore 1 or 2 different color suits.
Remember when he wore the tan suit and everybody lost their fucking minds? Sorry, go ahead.
He didn't want to spend his decision points on like bullshit. And me and him, we were talking, we're going to eat the same breakfast every day. Specifically, so like one of the first decisions we make isn't about like oatmeal or eggs. So it's actually about tone or like some sort of like rhythm or something.
Set the vibe for the day, what you eat.
I like that you're stockpiling points, guys. I should start doing that. Because
we can lend you some towards the end of this. I'll have enough points to give you.
I need to stockpile points. I'm a horrible decision maker.
Well, dude, you have to. Number one, automating what you eat for breakfast is the number one thing. Because
nothing. Check, done.
I even said to him, like, pick out what you're gonna wear in the studio the next day, the day before. Like when you have no points left and you're kind of making crazy decisions.
Yeah.
Just pick out your outfit because it doesn't really fucking matter anyway. You know what I mean? And then you don't have to make a decision on what you eat or what you wear. The first thing you do in the command chair, it's actually going to be of consequence. It's not just going to be like, I want a red shirt and hard-boiled egg.
I like that you said command chair and red shirt. Those are 2 Star Trek terms, and it just triggered me real
Dude,
hard.
I swear to God, subconscious. That was
triggered me real hard. Yeah, though, I felt like I remember just working, and I'd make all the decisions at work, and then I would come home, and I'd be like, so what do you want for dinner? I was like, just fucking pick. I have no, I can't, because I spent all day making decisions and timing and all this stuff, and I was just not. I couldn't make any decisions.
Well, look, what do we do then? You always rush off to work. You end up giving someone else like your best juice. Your best points.
Oh yeah, how to be the most time efficient when you're late, right? So you're mixing things together. You're brushing your teeth in the shower. There's 2 decisions already.
The decision shouldn't be, do I brush my teeth or not? That should just be an automatic yes, right?
I still can fuck myself up though. I'll be like, oh, should I brush my teeth with my left hand to wake myself up? You know, because I can like make it too complicated.
Yeah,
Focus. Yeah.
That
So
is way more complicated. Your brain is on a
yourself
different
up.
level than mine. You know? I don't think too specifically about that enough. I guess I'm not as deliberate throughout my day. Sometimes the day just
I'm
do
obsessed with life hack shit like that though. That's just more like I feel like I'm getting cheat codes on life. Like if I can figure out how to turn my brain on in a new way or whatever.
That's huge. That's really huge.
So I don't know. It's my own obsession.
I just speaking kind of. I just started listening to audiobooks. I made that joke about audiobooks earlier, but I started listening to audiobooks. I've never really done that before, but it's definitely making my brain process things in a different way.
Okay.
You know, because it's just, you know, like I read a lot, and so like I read fast. You know what I mean? So when somebody's reading a book to me, I have to like slow down and like listen to the words, and I'm like, it's not harder to process, but it's like I'm processing it on multiple levels in a different way, and it feels like I'm, you know, hacking my brain a little bit, making it do different things that I'm not used to.
I believe it. I can't listen to podcasts on anything but the 1x. I can't do 1.5 or any of that shit. Like I feel like it has to be human conversation pace. Otherwise, it's just upsetting to me.
It's too much information.
Oh, right.
It's coming through a different source.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I'm used to like reading. I can like just be like, blah, 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 and like it absorbs it. My brain just it's like, it's so different. Like I'm listening word by word, and I'm trying to formulate the picture in my head or like its storyline.
I had a drum teacher once that was giving me like a reading exercise where like we had to read the bar of music, and he midway through reading the bar, he like ripped the paper down. Like took it away and wanted to see how much further I could keep playing, like how much you had in like your mind's RAM in terms of the notation. And it blew my mind because like you actually do take in a lot before you're actually able to act on it or like put it somewhere. Like you're just chopping up so much info in your brain at any one moment.
There's reading strategies, like power reading strategies, where people do that, where you train your brain to just like read like the center of it and use kind of like the peripheral of your eye to like pick up the things on the sides. So like you really just like scan down the page, but you're able to like read it. And those are like speed reading, like life hacks, speed reading things that people do. I've never been able to do. I actually have a book in my library called How to Read a Book.
You have to read it that
and
fast?
it's like a really thick book, and it like has all sorts of, you know. But
It's a thick book called How to Read a Book.
It is, and that's why. But like that's kind of the joke, because I was like, how big it was. I was like, wow, that's really fucking silly. I can just read a book. I don't have to read a book about reading a book. But you know, it's about analyzing and context, and you know, just like, you know, looking into what you read. It's, you know, it's that kind of shit. You know.
No, you could fill a book with it. I think that's what literature is, right?
Yeah,
or
context.
Like English.
Yeah. Right.
But like, it should be a pamphlet on how to read a book. I mean, magazine, maybe, if someone's ambitious on how to read
Use
a book.
eyes. Scan left, right. And you put it down. It's an easy read.
But I love though that you're like interested in stuff that some people would be like, oh, I know how to read. I don't need that shit. Like, because if you can stay humble, you actually can achieve more greatness. You know, because you can unlock shit.
Always be a newcomer. Always have an open
big,
mind.
dude. That's not easy.
It's more fun that way.
You want to keep finding things, right? I mean, shit.
Life's too short to pretend like you know it all. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to be able to know it all. So just keep learning everything.
Keep learning what you don't know, and then you don't know more.
And then it's exciting. And it's not like, I know everything. This shit's boring. You get so jaded. You know what I mean? You get jaded so fast.
But I felt like I was like 25 or something with like music, and I was like, oh, I don't know anything about music. I thought I was like a musician and like good at music. I'm like, I'm a fucking moron.
That happens to me on a daily basis.
I was gonna say, I feel like that
took lessons for years, played in a jazz band, you know, obviously played along to like rock records, everything on the side. But I was like, oh yeah, no, there's way more under the surface here. I mean, I've even used the word tone, I think, a number of times, and I don't even think I knew what that was 5 years ago.
Being educated about things that you like is cool. It's good.
Are you getting too hot now?
Yeah, I'm hot, and
you're used to fucking freezing in the yard with me, man.
And I won't lie, this chair is not. Hold on, you guys.
I hate
it. I hate it. Hold on.
Why didn't you
guys just talk? Just talk. It's okay.
You can, back this like back part up.
Nothing's better than saying, "Keep talking, guys. Just keep talking."
Matt,
is it wobbly?
Matt, entertain us. I know you're trying to work, but come on, man. No. Austin, MF Doom. Did you get that hat post passing?
Pretty much the night of.
Oh, really?
I was plowing. It was like 4 a.m, and
you
I
were
heard that
snow plowing. Not
it's actually
fucking.
a good story.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Snow plowing.
Context.
Or wait, no, sorry, that's wrong. I was snow plowing the night before, listening to MF Doom in the truck while I'm working, because I got into like a MF Doom phase again. I used to.
And
listen
I'm back.
before.
What are we talking about,
And
guys?
we're back. We're talking about MF Doom.
Matt. Focus on your chair.
Much better.
So then the next morning I wake up and I see that he died, and I was like very disheartened. But everyone rushed to try to buy all of his merch, and before I was like, well, I'm gonna get a hat. I'm gonna get a hat.
Yeah, that's sweet. I mean, he's a figure that should be remembered.
Hell
100%.
Hell yeah.
100%.
Losing too many like talented artists,
Yeah.
And he was like a visionary artist, right? Like some people are musicians, some people are good, but he was like an artist, man. He had a whole persona, he had a whole,
Lack
thing.
of persona, rather. It's the mask. You know what I mean? Like
But that even, yeah, right. Like
but it's like it's its own thing in and of itself, right?
Do you guys think the podcast would have the same emotional weight if we were all wearing silver masks?
I
Be a lot
think it
more
would be
interesting.
interesting.
Be
Yeah,
crazy.
people would be mystery. People like mystery.
Would it be like Eyes Wide Shut, where we could talk about like crazy sexual shit, and like it would like allow us to get into some freaky Venetian mask territory?
I'd imagine.
No one cared about me before I put on the mask.
I'd imagine you'd be less filtered if your face isn't directly facing the camera. Like
Could
if you
be
had a veil over, I feel like you'd be less filtered.
I would love a Daft Punk mask to wear, just and a little vocoder.
Those
in
were
there.
like $60,000, like when they made them. They were like ridiculously expensive. Someone made them for them custom. when
Yeah, I'm
first
sure they
came out.
were fabricated with actual metal
Yeah.
and the whole deal. It's not. They were like, make this. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
It's gonna cost the price of an average Mercedes Benz.
Even with new LED technology, they probably had to retire just so they didn't get like neck problems, right? Long term, you can only do that shtick for so long. You love Deadmau5. You have the other hat's Deadmau5, right?
Yeah.
Does he? I actually been watching his masterclass a little bit.
Really?
Yeah. He's a cool dude.
He's a cool dude.
I mean, he's interesting. Yeah.
Well, I don't know a ton about him outside of his master class, but like I don't know much about his catalog actually, so I was pleasantly surprised by.
He's like a
his
Letterman
content.
of the EDM scene. That's like not even. He's kind of like
Yeah,
a rebel. He's
he's
kind of
seen
like a fuck
counterculture.
everyone kind of.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do what I want to do.
Was that always his game?
Yeah, he's always like that. He live streams now, and he kind of talks shit to like a lot of the people.
Is he a dick?
Not really.
Matt, do you have a? I feel like you have an opinion.
Or do you have a story that I don't know about?
No, I won't say I have any stories, and I'm not gonna say like he's a dick. I'm not like super like into like in the know about Deadmau5, but I think he was kind of a dick. Yeah.
I don't know anything about him, but I think he's a dick.
Matt doesn't like the cut of his jib.
Yeah. No, I see.
No,
I don't
he's
know.
definitely like a polarizing figure, I
Right.
guess.
There you go. He's a polarizing.
But for the
figure.
most part,
that's a nice
yeah.
way of saying he's a dick, right? Is that like if you just? I mean, not just taking it.
Well, I think there's something to, and this is funny. We're talking about MF Doom too. You kind of you seem like a prick when you wear a mask, because it's like wearing sunglasses. It's the ultimate version of wearing sunglasses inside. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's like show us your fucking face, all right? There's 7 billion of us walking around this rock.
You think you're better than
We
my
need to
face?
see who you are.
Yeah.
He has a side act called Joel Zimmerman, which is his real name, but he does like trance stuff. It's for like, people that want to listen to the same thing for 15 minutes instead of like the 5 minutes that his Deadmau5 stuff is.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah. He's got his two little personalities that he does.
This week, Austin's gonna turn me into a Deadmau5 stan. We're
Yeah.
gonna be watching his master class together. and
Get him into Jamiroquai too. I think that'd be fun.
I'll try to slide that one underneath.
Yeah.
We can make that happen.
It's the earlier albums. I feel like you'd really enjoy.
He's a bass player.
He's not a bass player, but he's
He has good bass players.
yeah.
He's got
It's like
plenty of
Steely
good ones.
Dan. He's like one
Really?
guy, and he gets session musicians to play
Oh,
what
I
he
didn't know- I
wants,
didn't
and
know that.
he's and he has
Thank you for
like
speaking my Steely Dan language.
yeah.
I appreciate that.
He but he does end up like having people that like stick around throughout, but like most of them, it's like him and then guys that he picks up.
It's like Jamiroquai, Dan, Mike. This guy, he picks guys with like the simplest names. and shit.
JK is his name. JK. That's really funny.
Yeah, that's great. Well, MF Doom, rest in peace, man.
Rest in
I'm glad
peace.
you're rocking the hat, Austin. We
Always.
should listen to some of that, actually. We just set up the subwoofer. So.
I put some in the playlist, I think. The JSG
Oh, yeah,
playlist.
that's right. Yeah,
the
that's right.
inspiration playlist.
Part of the liner notes for this album, you got to put all your inspirational music that you listen to while making this music.
Of course.
I would appreciate that.
We're gonna listen to me editing this podcast for
And
2 days.
I want you guys to document, take pictures of your, have the cool album pictures of you making the album together.
Oh yeah, we can do some of that.
Oh, yeah. I think we got some plan going. I brought my camera too.
Yeah,
We got 3 cameras now.
A picture of him taking a picture.
we should do it like that.
We'll do it.
Or we'll get mirrors involved.
You joke, but we'll probably do that.
I got one of my favorite Snapchat videos is me recording you at Thanksgiving like 4 years ago with
right.
your Steadicam. I think you got a
Gimbal,
Steadicam.
yeah, the gimbal. Going.
And then we both like look at each other at the cameras, and it's really silly.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, that's when I first got that thing. I
Yeah.
was psyched as hell for that robot arm.
You had like a Pelican case. It was like, really hit the table when you pulled it out. Pulled it open, you had the whole gimbal there.
Why buy expensive electronics if you don't put it in an overpriced case?
Oh,
Give me a fucking break. Speaking of,
I got a real heavy, nice case behind me, and I'm not talking about my ass.
that's one of the modern peacock feathers, though, is a Pelican case, is it not? I mean,
having
I could
really
throw this in the water.
high-end technology, like a high-end camera or a high-end like equipment, you know what I mean? That's definitely like, oh, he knows his shit. Look at all that like tech he's got.
Look how many clips he has on there.
Clips and locks, yeah.
I gotta put my thumb up to it, like scans.
But that's always been technology, even though nowadays it is like technology where it's like gizmos and gadgets. But even back in the day, you know, it's like lawnmowers and shit, you know. Same deal.
100%. Yeah, that's true.
Always a thing. Always a thing.
This guy's sitting on his lawnmower. I have to push mine. Yeah.
Push mower and then electronics, gasoline-powered lawnmowers.
Now they probably have drone lawnmowers at this point.
Can I quickly make a case for why Tesla is bullshit?
You don't even have to be quick
Because
about it.
I do this every episode. I have to talk about Tesla being horseshit every fucking episode. Horseshit also being the worst part about before cars, by the way. But yeah, that was a
good
pre-plan.
callback joke.
Do we got a rim shot button?
But I had to buy a leaf blower a few years ago, and I'm like, oh, they make electric leaf blowers. Tesla was out, you know, they had Tesla cars. I'm like, maybe it was like $550 when the gas one was $200. I was like, so this is like 3 times the price, and the battery's probably gonna die on me in like 2 years, whatever the fuck. And you can't even like finish the job. Like if you lose the charge,
it's over.
No more leaf blowing. You have to wait to charge the battery. Who knows how long that takes, whatever the fuck. Which I actually was in a situation where you need to keep going. So I was up in northern Wisconsin, and it's like a big place, and I'm not there always. So you need to get the job done while you're there, otherwise you're not getting the job done.
Yeah.
So I just had this a few years ago where a motor's a motor, right? I'm talking about like motor-driven things. They weren't even at electrification successfully with fucking leaf blowers, and now people are pretending that electric cars are like mainstream. It's 3% of the market. It's total horseshit. We can move on. That's all I had to say.
Or the rare earth metals that require from the batteries pretty much negate any of the gasoline.
Oh, that stuff too. I remember reading
like
the first article about a Hummer is better than a Prius. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, that sort of thing. Being like, oh shit, the batteries are the bad product. Like I didn't know that. You know.
That's always interesting when you find out like what the cost of this new technology is worth.
The total cost.
Like the sustainable, everything.
Sustainability.
What is it? Liquid. Oh my gosh, liquid cremation. Where like you get cremated in like a liquid as opposed to burning because it saves carbon footprint. Right?
What do you burn in hydrochloric acid?
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Oh.
Lye. They liquefy your body and your bones. So you're cremated in liquid versus like if they burn you in a crematorium. You know, the gases from the fire and all that stuff. So it's a more sustainable way of being buried. And I was like, that's kind of weird and fascinating.
What if you just get kicked off the shore in like an old rowboat and some teenagers shoot Roman candles at you?
Yeah.
Do you think that could be better for the environment?
Better, much better, much better.
You're still lighting the Roman candle, though.
I think the best thing we could do is just have our older people and infirm people just like put them out into the forest and have them walk like they do in Russia, and just like have the animals just
decompose.
back to society, right? So they'll get eaten by something, or like it's back to nature, and it's a very circle of life type quality that I like about it.
My example is basically a Viking funeral, so
yeah, I
can't argue with the Russian thing.
We're close. We're close. That's what they do is like, in the winters, whatever, and they'd have like the older grandparent, and like they're taking up food and space, and it's like, it's my time to go. So they would just put on their clothes and walk out into the wilds and the wilderness. And like that way their family wouldn't feel bad because they would be a drain on their family, and they didn't want to be a drain on their family. And they're like, I'm just going to.
Makes you wonder how it worked in like hunter-gatherer times, if
there was a lot less of us, that's for fuck sure.
But
quite a few.
Would that make it harder then to be like, oh, time to go in the woods and die, Grandpa? Like,
why? Because there's less of us, or what?
No,
that could hurt more. I mean, now it's like, there's 7 fucking billion of us. Get in the woods, old Russian man.
It's more like
now or back then it's like, shit, there's only 140 of us.
Yeah, the tribe's getting small. So there's 1/40th of the
That's
tribe.
true. Yeah, one of them.
And it's knowledge, and the knowledge too. Any tribal situation's all about knowledge.
Did you guys see it Midsummer? That movie Midsummer?
I
have not. Everyone's been telling me to watch it. I'm like, I have not had the chance to watch it.
I don't know if I will watch it.
You don't want to?
I don't know if I want to watch it.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
It's so fucked up.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's like torture.
Yeah.
It's like I'll table this for another time, maybe if
I'll watch it in between.
No, but tell me your feelings about it. Tell me.
Oh, there's just let's call it a ceremony for some older individuals where they get some Russian ideas. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, right. It's like, I don't want to say it's torture porn, but it's like a
It's
horrible,
torture porn.
Yeah,
it
is,
feels
right?
like it feels
Yeah.
like that. It's tasteful. I mean,
But I was gonna say people seem to really enjoy it. Like if you like that kind of thing, which I don't like that kind of thing, so that's why I wasn't into it. But if you like that kind of thing, it's
I'm Swedish, so obviously I'm deeply hurt, on a cultural level by my people being used as a bastardization from this torture porn. But that's just my own personal shit. I have to.
You
get
like
over
the
that.
exposure though that they're really talking about the
yeah.
Swedish
It's nice that
people,
they're
though.
talking about it. It's
Yeah.
nice to be talking
At least
about
they're mentioning us.
Yes, I also love all the exposure my other bloodline gets. The Irish, all the positive PR that the Irish have gotten in my lifetime. Too much. So if this podcast does go on long enough, do you guys think we should walk into the woods or do the boat thing? Which of the two seems?
it. You know,
See, the boat thing, there's water, and it's going to affect our electricity. But if we do in the woods, we trip on a wire or something?
Dude, I mean, they're going to get rid of electricity by the time this podcast is
Bitcoin
of
electricity.
death age. Yeah, I mean, it'll be coming straight out of the air.
wireless electricity like Tesla likes.
God, I had to
See?
bring it back.
See?
Had to bring it back.
Well, I did want to talk about how much money he lost from his SNL.
Let's do that.
Yeah, 'cause,
I find that funny because we kind of were prophesizing that.
Yeah,
sort of
we
thing.
we did, and he actually lost apparently $20 billion in his valuation, and he lost 15% of his the market cap of Tesla.
Right.
Disappeared overnight because of his SNL situation, and then Dogecoin collapsed, and then Bitcoin is now. I don't want to say collapsed.
Well, one of the
but-
reasons Bitcoin went down is because he backed out of taking him his payments
Yeah.
for his cars.
And then he went towards Doge, which still has not recovered from.
Yeah, I have a feeling it'll slowly rise.
We'll see. It's
'Cause
just
now that it's
interesting.
on, what's it called? Now that it's on Coinbase, I have a feeling that's going to be like another way for people to buy it.
I just wonder what, I don't want to say damage, but like what the lasting implications of him being on there and like what he said. Like, yeah, it's a hustle.
Lasting implications is an interesting turn of phrase.
Yeah.
Lasting, because it definitely was like kind of I think a flash in the pan type thing,
Mm-hmm.
especially because people were specifically trading Doge as it relates to his SNL performance.
Yeah.
They were trying to use
I
that
was
as
watching it
a
go.
moment of leverage.
Right.
Yeah.
Really, it was. And then he very conveniently, within a week after this Doge marketing stunt, at least is what you could call it.
Yeah.
He backs out of the Bitcoin. What I'm going to call marketing stunt,
Yep.
I think is undoubtedly what it ended up being.
Yep. Yeah.
It wasn't doing the environment any favors, right? I mean,
No. And I like how that's now a thing, though. People are talking about, I've noticed that that's becoming a bigger topic of Bitcoin, is how it's environmentally unsustainable,
in that one of the solo podcasts I did, I was trying to think of like terminology or like new ways to describe it. It's unvirtuous virtue signaling, because you're trying to signal that like I am the future, I am virtuous and of the future, I am forward thinking, but it's like you're a dick.
Yeah.
You're trying to profit off of doing fucking nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
And it seems like virtue signaling, and people kind of don't you guys get a charge out of like seeing Bitcoin? It's like a positive connotation still.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, it's like you said, it's a new thing, right? So like, getting millennials
cults aren't new,
generational
but-
wealth. Yeah, it is a cult. You're absolutely right. It's a cult.
But
the
but
cult
it's,
of Bitcoin.
It feels new, and specifically, it's
Shiny
signaling for the future.
Yeah.
It's
There'll
saying
be a
I'm new.
cult coin. I'm calling it now. There's going to be cult coins.
Coin.
Dude,
Cult
great.
coins. We
That's
just
great.
came up with it. Never-ending becoming cult coins.
The never ending cult coin.
Visit our NFT page instantly. to
That's
make
another
sure that-
another thing. It's I think it will be interesting to see the long-term implications of it, especially as long as it is environmentally unsustainable, especially when it's like you're not producing anything of value.
Exactly.
That
It's
was the thing
transactions,
that
right?
made me. Yeah, that was the thing that really started to make me think about it differently. It was when actually talking about here and you kind of being like, but what does it do? Like, what is the, and then there's some economists that were kind of saying like, you're not really getting anything out of this. It's just profit. It's just like money for money's sake, right?
Because even with the transactions, they're still indexing it to the dollar. You know what I mean? You have to convert
Yeah.
it to something that actually,
Is
in our
value.
modern age, is a store of value.
Right.
People love to say it's a store of value, but the thing with that is it changes value constantly.
Yeah. And like the idea.
That's true.
So if you're transacting in it, it's not a good store of value because it's like a math exercise more than anything.
And at the end of the day, you're selling them for dollars, right? They're not,
gets tied to something
You're selling
else.
them specifically so you can make more dollars.
By the way, just to tie a little crypto bow on other topical current event things, that pipeline hack, they demanded crypto in
Yes, they
payment,
did.
and they did pay $5 million in crypto, untraceable as payment for those pipelines to go back on. Did you guys hear that?
Yes, I did. And then I heard, and then the follow-up to that was that the hacker group came out, and whether it's true or not, they said that the government has like taken down their stuff and actually took back some of the money already. and like shut down their accounts.
So anyone who thinks the government's not going to get involved with Bitcoin, listen to this fucking story.
And then also some people were saying that was the hacker group got too hot. And so what they were doing was trying to like de-escalate themselves and kind of coming up with a fake story that like, oh yeah, the government got us, we have to break up. But in actuality, the heat just got too hot, and they're all just kind of squirreling away until they come up with something new. But yeah, the claim is that the U.S. government agency has seized their hacking tools and a lot of their hacking tools and stuff, and then they kind of released.
We've captured their Dvorak keyboards, and we got their mood lights.
Yeah,
those LED, those strip lights,
dual 21-inch monitors,
RGB graphics cards that are also bit mining at the same time.
But that's what you're 100% though. A lot of these ransomware people are asking for cryptos because it's untraceable. It's like theoretically untraceable, but you can still get into their access. It sounds like you can get into the access to get into the access, right?
I mean, I'm old enough to remember Bitcoin being the thing used on the Silk Road to buy like spores for shrooms or something. You know what I mean?
That was my first interaction of it. We were buying weed off the Silk Road, the dark web. We were buying weed from fucking Colorado, shipping it through U.S. mail because they can't open it without a federal. They need a warrant for the U.S. Post Office Service.
So it's about you do have some. How was it paid? Did you pay through? You must have paid through. We don't have to talk about that.
I don't get
theoretically.
Were they asking for Bitcoin? Like, did they try to ask for
Bitcoin? Was the way the stuff was transferred, right? So you'd buy Bitcoin, you'd buy a Bitcoin, and then you would send them the percentage of the Bitcoin, and then they would be able to exchange that for dollars. So the bad thing was back in the Swiss government basically went after the dark web, the Silk Road specifically, and they like shut it down. And a friend of mine had like I think 3 Bitcoin, which at the time was like I think like $400 or $500, like stashed away, and then they like basically shut off access to it. So it was just kind of floating out in the ether. He couldn't access it, nobody else could, but they kind of shut it down. So
Funny thing about the ownership, isn't there like 2 dudes also that own 30% of Dogecoin?
Yeah.
And there's also one
like
person that owns a ton of the Bitcoin.
Yeah.
My friend has like 6,000 Dogecoin, and I'm like, I think he bought it in like 2013 when it was like $0.0005.
Yeah.
And it was a joke.
I
6,000 will translate to what, $3,000 right now?
Right. I think about that because I was definitely following the memes, and I remember when it was literally a joke, and I was like, oh, I could buy this for a tenth of a tenth of a cent.
Talk about what ends up feeling like a joke. Did you hear the Ethereum founder?
Oh yeah.
In how he ended up giving $1 billion to charity in the form of crypto, but in him giving the $1 billion to charity, it instantly devalued the coins he was giving to nothing. And so there was all this press about the charity getting a fucking $1 billion donation. And then they did like rewrite stories. I saw a story later in the same day being like, oh yeah, when he did it, it went down to nothing.
I did not hear that secondary part of it. And that's hilarious. But I heard him giving the $1 billion, and I was like, wow, that's a lot of money to give away.
And is this recently?
It was
like 2 days ago. Yeah.
Yeah. Vitaly, I forget what that guy's name. Vitalik?
I can't remember.
The Ethereum dude. Seems like an interesting character, whatever, but he was even given the coins as like a marketing ploy. Like they were like joke coins of the joke coin Doge. Like it was like a meta coin sort of that he got as like a marketing ploy. Of course, it's all marketing ploy, but they instantly devalued themselves. Kind of annoying because I did read an article early in the day being like, damn, fucking solid dude. He was given the money actually for Indian COVID
That's
relief.
what I saw, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Which it's an incredible cause, but it ends up being like a fucking slap in the face. It's like a joke, He's like collecting all these headlines, and then it was just.
I wonder if I wonder if he did it intentionally, because I mean he's a smart guy, like he's not dumb, so he's got to know that like this is gonna be worth dick, and I'm gonna give it to everybody, but I'm gonna get the good press,
Or he was, I don't know, he's the Ethereum founder, which is the second most valuable crypto.
And you figure
so
he
it
knows
seems
what
like
he's doing.
It seems like bad press to be like, oh yeah, this shit can go down to zero instantly. That's pretty rough press for someone who has so much fucking skin in that specific game.
Do you remember the name of the coin?
Ethereum, right?
Ether.
Sorry.
Yeah, Ether is the Ethereum. No, but
Ether.
I forget what. No, it's like a Doge coin. It's like a
Gotcha. Like it was like
doggy Doge coin.
Sheep coin. Sheep.
Yeah, maybe it was one of those.
The Shiba, yeah. There's a good subreddit called Crypto Moonshots, and it's basically about all like the new up and coming cryptos and blah blah blah. And it's like we have this much money, and then blah blah blah, and it's like trying to get people to sign up into the crypto in like get your moonshot, like invest your however many dollars, and then, it's going to explode to the moon, and you're going to make your money and blah, 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 blah,
Time will tell as we will.
It's just it's just a newfangled slot machine.
It's a newfangled slot machine.
That's all it feels like.
Coin stuff's gambling for sure.
I mean, like, the stock market's always been gambling, but this Bitcoin and this Dogecoin, it just feels straight up like gambling.
It doesn't even feel fair to me. I've been investing in stocks for 10 years to compare something, a security like Apple computers to fucking one of these coins.
There's no
one of
products
them
attached, right?
I have an Apple computer, taking the audio from this podcast. I have my phone usually that's shooting this podcast. Like, they're like a half a sponsor, for Christ's sake. So I can't, act like some of those securities are even remotely in the same wheelhouse.
They're creating a product. Bitcoin is not creating anything but like a power drain, right? And then I guess I was listening to, like, somebody was saying how the argument is that a lot of these Bitcoin miners and stuff are in like China and Russia, and so like they're
majority China.
Yes, right, majority China, and they're only using power that was already going to be there that they wouldn't have used anyways. Like
That's bullshit.
Right, it's such bullshit. It's such a fucking I can't even just. It's just an idiotic argument. It's not like, oh, well, they have this power capacity, so we're just using the capacity they have. That's not how that works.
Yeah, you tell me the government that famously had a one-child policy is just shitting out electricity for free. We were just going to use this anyway.
Well, they are, but it's coal. And,
coal,
and they're just like belching coal power out. So it's like, oh, okay, cool. So it's some of the most pollutant freaking power that they're probably using. Well, he said it was hydroelectric, which is bullshit. I just don't believe
that stuff is spin. No, seriously, that's bullshit.
Yeah,
it's hydroelectric out of the Chinese government. You believe that shit?
Yeah. I mean, I know they have huge hydroelectric dams. That's a fact.
And it's going to make a couple miners rich.
Yeah, no,
Bitcoin miners rich.
Right,
fucking way.
Those are going to be in the most smog-ridden, pollutant. It's just But anyways, I just
thank you for humoring my Tesla bearishness, my Bitcoin bearishness. I do appreciate it, guys.
I've been educated. I've been more educated on Bitcoin. No, I'm serious. It's been more educated on Bitcoin. I was very much like, oh, this is so cool, blah, 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 cutting edge of all that.
Everyone needs their own opinion.
Well, I don't know. It did get weird looking at everything. It kind of tripped me out, all of us looking at the same time.
Well, I saw you look, and I saw you look, so then I had to look.
I felt weird. Yeah. I felt like somebody's looking at me.
It's, we can just stare forward the entire time, but we have to tell each other which camera to look at.
Do you guys feel uncomfortable? No. And by you guys, I mean the audience.
Oh, wait, we're not even looking at the monitor. You have to look at like the actual physical lens, right?
That is how lenses work, yes.
Yeah.
Although, to be honest, you still take selfies with people, and it's like, where am I looking? It's like, we all own the same phone. We all own the exact same phone. You guys don't know where to look on this thing? Like,
everyone knows it's on the top.
It's pretty fucking hilarious.
Well, everyone wants to look at themselves with the selfie. They want to see their face when they take the picture.
Or they want to look at their Bitcoin balance.
Bitcoin balance, Robinhood account.
See where I'm at here. Matt's about to jump in, hit us.
No, I was just looking. I had you guys. So these are all current. These are all current late night hosts. Okay.
You just wrote Elon Musk 20 times.
I didn't.
Well, late night Saturday night. He was the most recent SNL host, so that fits.
I didn't write him on the list. Fuck him. Okay, so the current crop, Jimmy Kimmel.
He's a real dude.
Says enough. That says enough.
He's a real dude.
Yeah. For Jimmy Kimmel, I would also use the word consistent. He's consistent. Yeah. I think he's what were you gonna say?
I just we talked about Mike Lindell previously.
Yeah.
I watched an interview with Jimmy Kimmel.
Me too.
Did you really?
I did. I watched it. Yeah.
And it was amazing because there is no room on mainstream media for there to be civil discourse, and that's obviously the thing that is totally fucking this country up. Is for the two quote unquote sides. There's not really two sides to talk to each other. It's like two spectrum factions basically talking to each other, but they had like a respectful but disagreeable conversation.
Yeah,
it was awesome.
It was good, and I think it made Mike Lindell look almost human. You know what I mean? Because
kind of the SNL effect.
Yeah, it was, but it was like in a good way. Like, yeah, he's crazy, but I understand why he's crazy, sort of thing. You know what I mean?
It's important.
It's like it takes some of the sting out of how batshit crazy these people are. You know what I mean? Which I don't know if I want, though. I don't know if I want to feel like I need to like Mike Lindell. But
I don't want to take the sting out, but I want to build a bridge for them to reach sanity. For people that maybe have fringe beliefs to get back to the mainland.
Do you feel like they have these beliefs just so they stand out more? So they're louder and these personalities are larger than life?
Part of it is like a troll peacock thing. I think that's undeniable. I think there's no such thing as bad publicity, and that's being manifested by people being like kind of villains and acting like heels. There's some of that for sure.
Yeah, I'm I'm becoming at a stage where I was very. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, people. I think they definitely internalize it enough where they're taking it seriously. It's not, I think, really a flaunting thing. I think it becomes their identity and it becomes real, even if it didn't start real, whatever that
Yeah,
means.
I agree, completely agree. I think it is absolutely serious, and I think that's the problem. Is you have, people like Major Taylor Greene and these people that are just Matt Gaetz, right? Who's a fucking scumbag that are all in on this path that they're not going to be able to be brought to the middle. They're talking about vaccines right now. You see the vaccines in the CDC data. The reason why they changed all that is because they want people to get vaccines. We've reached a point with the vaccines where the people that want to get them have gotten them.
Yeah.
And now we're trying to get that literally other half.
The stragglers, yeah.
That's not stragglers.
Or not stragglers,
It's
people that
literally
just don't want to get it.
the
Yeah.
other half of the country. They did a study of like why people aren't getting vaccines, and ultimately it's like completely down political lines,
That's sad.
and so when you say something like you want to bridge the gap, you want to bring them to the middle, I was very much like, how do we get these people back? And now I'm like at a place like, do we want them back?
Yes.
And like, can we even take them back? Like, not like, but
Yes
like,
and yes.
how can they come back? I am, man, I don't think so. I think
Johnny Carson, that's how they come back.
yeah,
For
but-
real, dude.
Yeah,
Like, we need uniting media figures.
but we don't. We do need those things, but ultimately, I don't think there is never going to be another Johnny Carson because media is too spread out. There isn't just one channel to be able to have a Johnny Carson. Not everybody is going to be able to look at the one thing. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
Everything is too stratified now.
We need kind of like a Jimmy Fallon that's a little bit more vice signally, just a little bit more vice signally, so that like some of those factions, political factions, can relate to him more.
Yeah, you need that bridge.
We almost had it with Rogan, right?
Almost.
It's a great
We
example.
almost
Right
had
there,
it.
right there.
Almost had it.
Right
But
there.
he leaned far too hard into his fucking, I don't want to say his idiot friends. I feel like not even idiot friends. Yeah, I guess that's not what I want to say, but it's like,
I want to say that he's doing a bad impression of why he thinks people love him.
Yeah.
I think he thinks
Wow.
he's winning some serious points by being like sort of a centrist, sort of actually a collector of maybe the best ideas of the both sides, being like into, legalized drugs and psychedelic medicines and sort of new age hippy dippy type, culture.
Episode of 4.
But also with
king
the
of
hunting license,
Oh, yeah.
with the fighting, with
Yeah.
car culture and some of the other maybe more right leaning things that
being a man's man, but being a cultured man's man.
Who does
right?
yoga.
Right. He does yoga.
He
well.
does yoga. Mm.
But I really, and I've listened to his podcast more than I care to admit on this podcast.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Likewise, yeah.
But it just seemed like he's doing an impression of himself, or like again what he thinks people love him for, which it's not going to work. If you're still tying yourself directly to the people, you're subjected to the people.
Yeah.
And they can fuck you up. And I think some of the right leaning stuff that fucked him up. It totally fucked his mind and brand up, if you want to call it a brand.
Yeah, I mean, again, he was trying to have civil discourse. I feel like he was trying to have like, hey, I want to have everybody on my podcast. I don't want to just have the lefties. You know what I mean? I want to have interesting people. But at the same time, he was giving a platform to those people in a way that like angered a lot of the people that he was trying. You know what I'm saying? Like
I
it was
do.
the polarizing part of it.
I do, but I don't know if I totally buy that. Like, you can't give those people any airtime because that's the Mike Lindell thing.
No,
It's
I
like, cut
agree
them
with that.
off, and I get that because I said the phrase myself. No such thing as bad publicity.
So then it goes back to kind of, I don't think the culture is going to accept a unifying figure. I don't think they're going to accept that anymore.
It's tough. I mean, people like Tucker Carlson. Let's bring up another character. He's able to
That's
like.
not. Sorry, no, I'm just kidding.
Well, I mean, he's bolstering his media brand by being like an anti-vaxxer,
He's so good at his job. He's so good at his job. Yes, yes.
playing like a douche troll.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And a lot of people. I mean, let's be honest. It's much easier to tear things down than it is to build things.
Oh man, I mean, he's the king of that, of the outrage, the fake outrage machine, and just like he's a great white supremacist. I think John Oliver had a big thing about him being a white supremacist.
Oh yeah, I didn't see that.
And it's really great. And they have like a guy who's like, his family is big white supremacist, and he's no longer part of it. And they talked about how they would watch Tucker Carlson twice. Once for like just watching it, and the second time to like study how he does it, because he's so good at communicating white supremacist ideas without saying it's white supremacy.
The age of coded language.
Yes,
type
but
shit,
he's
right?
such a good code talker, and he's able to talk about others. And I'm not good at it, so I can't do it like him. But he's able to frame things in a way that makes it like, oh, anti-immigrants and anti-vaccines, and very very pro, taking away our freedoms, that kind of shit.
Austin, what's your impression of Tucker?
Not very much. I don't know him that well. I've seen of him. I try not to stay very political, and this podcast has been very political, and I've let Matt just do his thing. That's what I learned to do. I talk when they talk about music. It's okay. I love hearing Matt talk.
We'll make a right turn soon.
It's okay.
But even
It's okay.
whatever your caricature of him is, I feel like that's still valuable. Because actually, to be honest, a lot of people aren't like wannabe political podcast wonks like me and Matt. I mean,
Nobody
really.
wants to be this guy.
I mean,
Nobody
really.
wants to be this guy.
But I mean, you're.
I don't even want to
Where's
be
the
this
blue
guy.
tie? Where's the
I
blue
don't
tie?
know.
You left the blue tie.
I'm
home.
purple, dude. I'm mixed, blue and red. I'm in the middle, literally.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, that's funny. The thing is, it's just media opportunists. It's people that are they have something to
Alex
gain
Jones.
building their media brand, and they're going for it. Even if it means long term, it's gonna fuck up society.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Like they have
don't
enough
necessarily
followers
care.
to gain.
Right. They
in
don't
the
care.
meantime.
There's that whole thing right there.
What do you think of Austin when you think of? Let's do some more category word association type shit.
Fallon,
Austin.
Myers, Colbert, Trevor Noah, John Oliver, Bill Maher, Lily Singh, Craig Ferguson, Dick Cavett, Pat Sajak, Chevy Chase, Arsenio Hall, James Corden, because I forgot about him, Jon Stewart, Charlie Rose, and then I had Graham Norton and Jonathan Ross, who are both British, Tom Snyder,
Graham
who's
Norton.
an old late night show guy, William F. Buckley, who used to host Firing Line in the 60s, and I think that was all I had. But I probably could have come up with
That's a lot
5 or
of them.
6
That's
more.
a lot of
Damn
talk show
good,
hosts.
dude. That's damn good.
Just so I can end it and feel like I said them all. So
Did you say Stephen Colbert or Stephen Colbert?
Stephen Colbert.
Stephen Colbert.
But also, when you think of Fox News, what comes to mind?
Probably right leaning,
Right.
if not all the way fall into the
Their
right.
brand,
Yeah.
right leaning.
Yeah.
What's Tucker to you now? Is it after that John Oliver thing? It's probably white
It was
supremacist
always bad. It was always
bullshit,
bad.
right?
I always didn't like Tucker Carlson, and it wasn't just the John Oliver thing. I mean, I've known Tucker Carlson as a fucking hack forever, right? That's always who he's been. Is just like, he has a lane, and he sticks in his lane, and he's really good at communicating hate. Like, that's what he's good at. He's communicating a specific brand of hate. And Fox News loves to megaphone that particular brand of hate because it knows, like you said, that it'll rake in the cash. It's a particular brand, that there is an appetite for that particular brand of hate. You know what I mean? And
Right.
they've been able to sustain that brand of hate for 20 plus years, right after September 11th, when it became, all brown people are bad, right? All Muslims, right? Fox News ran with that shit. And they've run with it ever since, and it's become not just Tucker's brand, that's the Fox News brand, And then people argue that like Fox News has, you can't get mad at Tucker because he's just an opinion journalist, right?
That's bullshit.
Like he's not an anchor. So people who should watch him don't watch him for news, they watch him for opinions.
Well, you mentioned sustain, and I feel that's what they're doing. You know what I mean? Why would you quit something that makes so much money and sustains all these careers? I mean, not that it's a good thing.
That's
but
an interesting point, and actually, that's been even tested now with some of the Parler and some of the other right-wing media syndicates that have become offshoots as it relates to Trumpism. In essence, this cult of personality type,
Exactly what it is.
like derangement disorder that like a lot of people have, including myself.
Yeah,
everyone.
no, I absolutely have
has
Trump's derangement
experienced.
disorder. I've had it.
But in a way, they might not sustain in the same way because they're going to maybe have to take a new choice now. They're going to have to decide, okay, how extreme are we getting as it relates to Trumpism? And they have been losing some market share, right? Like MSNBC now.
they'll have
Yeah.
Tucker Carlson do TikTok dances, and then you'll get some of the young crowd.
But
in
like,
there.
Dude, that's
so,
probably going to happen.
So like we just saw
happen.
the Republicans get rid of Liz Cheney, right? The number 3
Gosh,
Republican who is speaking out against the big lie that there was a
Do you ever think you'd be backing up a Cheney on this podcast?
Never in my life. No, like never in my life. Like Dick Cheney is like on my list, and I won't say what list that is, but it's not a good list. And
Douche list.
the D list.
Double douche list.
and like his daughter, I couldn't stand her either, but she is sticking to her guns, and she is principled in a way that
Meaning the Second Amendment. She loves the Second Amendment.
Right to bear arms.
She does love that too. But no, she's sticking to her guns. She's not fucking kowtowing to a fucking, cult of personality. She's like, I'm not going to let this party turn into a party of one man. And especially when he's lying. I think that's the part that I appreciate the most about her, is she is fully saying, like, he is lying.
Yeah.
It is a lie. Like, why are we supporting a liar?
Is there an expression like "hard times make strange bedfellows"? Is that the expression?
The enemy of the enemy of my enemy is my friend, right? And so Trump is the ultimate enemy right now, as far as in my mind, American democracy. He is the biggest enemy to American democracy that we have right now. Is Trump and his cult of personality.
Here we are. It's true.
I mean, honestly, like we're literally watching election laws be rewritten. We're watching a fraudulent recount in Arizona. We're watching like
Is that still happening? They're
Yeah,
still
I was gonna
recounting?
say it's
Arizona
been like a
recounts still
couple.
happening.
It's
Yeah.
been almost
I can't-
half
I
a
can't.
year.
it's
can't
still,
keep-
and it's embarrassing. They're saying how embarrassing it is and how fraudulent the recount is. You know how many missed things and people just leaving ballots in the open and just because they have watchers, because like the Democratic Congress in Arizona is like, let's have watchers like we don't normally do, and of course they're like, we don't want any watchers. We don't want any like that. We don't want any Democratic fucking people, because like they're absolutely out of their goddamn minds.
I just love that thinking. It's like, okay, guys, Trump's like, don't send in mail-in ballots. I don't want to see those mail-in ballots. Why? And then he's like, why aren't people voting for me in mail? What the fuck's going on here?
Yeah, that's hilarious.
It's
It's
just
the old world meeting the new.
I don't want to see bullets and the gun on my desk. Why is my gun empty? It's like, well, no one's doing it. You're going against yourself.
Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah.
Let's steer off Trump. Let's steer off politics. We gotta talk about other things.
I can do that.
We had 50 episodes to talk about Trump. We
Yeah,
had,
no, I don't need to talk about
we
Trump
have
or COVID.
plenty of episodes to be talking about Trump.
Jimmy Carter?
It's just so easy. It's just so easy to get Jimmy
is.
Carter and his perspective picture.
Well, it's so easy because they have those machines rolling, dude. That's where we're fed content
Right.
from all the time. I mean,
Absolutely.
like, this is a fucking funny point we're at here with our own decision, our own media that we're creating, and we're still, in a lot of ways, paying lip service to people we fucking hate.
Yeah. Yeah, but they still are.
This is it's just a human thing. I think
Yeah.
it's like risk aversion. You want to talk about the biggest risk, gossip about the biggest threat to society, so that we can trigger that risk aversion in our genes to stay away from that sort of thing. But in the modern age,
I'm life hacking my genes, by the way. Sorry.
yeah, in the modern age, we've been hacked.
It's true. Talking about having any amount of press at all. Like you said, any press is good press, meaning,
The fact that we're discussing him.
the fact that we're mentioning it.
But I've said it before. I think we need to keep discussing him until he's fucking dead and gone. Because if we keep burying him under the rug, he's gonna pop up at horrible and inopportune times.
I agree, at least in that we need to talk about the phenomenon or the illness that allowed him to propagate.
Yeah, but it's like illness sounds like it can be cured, and I'm becoming.
Oh, it can be cured. Come on, this country. I'm gonna go off my soapbox here.
Let's hear it.
No,
Let's hear
but
it.
for real, this is a time where we're all fucking bored. We have nothing to do, and we're talking about politics as like a freelance activity type thing. I mean, we just have no fucking real problems anymore. That's the reason we're all talking about politics all the time. We're soft, and life is too easy.
Wolves. We got to release wolves
We
into
need
the
to-
wild.
Nah.
Wolves and bears.
Here we go.
Maybe not bears. Bears are fucking terrifying. They throw dumpsters. I'm no fan of bears. Wolves.
Or at least an alpha predator that can take down Trump. That's why people wanted like
Snakes.
The Rock to get up there and scream in his face
Predator. We need a new
at
alpha
the
predator.
debate.
If you put Trump and a wolf in the same room, he's not going to look like the god everyone makes him out to be. He's going to get mauled. The Rock might survive.
Are you trying to say that Trump is a wolf, or he's a wolf in sheep's clothing with the other wolf? Because now I'm getting my animals all
He's a
mixed up here.
sheep in wolf's clothing.
I'm the sheep because
When
I got a
compared to
vaccine
a
and I like
wolf.
wearing my mask, so I'm a sheep.
Amazing. Do you guys want to talk a little bit about like post-COVID life, like
Nope.
the future?
Yeah,
I'll
I
talk
can't
about,
even
I'll
see
talk
the
about
future. I can't even-
post-COVID life.
Not as
Maybe
much.
not pre-COVID. Who gives a shit? I mean, we're
can't-
past that now.
I'm not. We shouldn't even be using the word, right?
Schmovid.
Actually, just one.
The
COVID.
virus who must not be named.
Can I ask you one COVID question?
Only one.
Launch
Just
it.
one.
Launch it.
Is it like dickheaded to say Corona instead of COVID?
I don't know.
I don't know. Well, I
No,
guess
not
COVID.
no, it's not. I'll take it. Not enough.
I don't
COVID's the disease, right? Or COVID's the disease caused by the
COVID-19.
coronavirus. I feel just COVID is
COVID-19
faster.
is a
Corona,
coronavirus.
COVID. I don't know.
Coronavirus. It is a coronavirus, but it's called COVID-19, right? Is the name of this.
Well, let's be honest. They changed the name on us a month in.
I think Corona
The-
did something to do with it. I think
the
Corona,
Corona
paid it off.
beer.
Corona beer's like, all right, guys, we're getting some bad press here. Let's stop.
No, but Corona is it means crown in
Oh, I didn't think that's where you're going with it. I nodded
Front of
like
the
I knew
sun,
we were
there's
going.
Corona is a
solar.
word that means
Yeah.
in various languages. I think it means various things in various languages. But I think like the entities got together like we got to call this something different. Like
Because they
It's-
didn't like COVID-19.
well, that or it's just like come on, man, I'm selling beer here with this thing on it. You want me to put me out of
So
business?
wait, did
or-
COVID-19 come before or after?
after?
Oh,
I'm
okay.
saying when we all initially went through it, this is going longer than I even wanted. When we went through the terror, there was the coronavirus outbreak.
Mm-hmm.
It was coronavirus for the first 2 to 4 weeks, and
Yeah.
then they like, oh, we've identified
It's
the
COVID-19.
particle. It is COVID-19 in the family of whatever the fuck.
Guys, it's first virus robot versus virus robot.
I will attach to you. No, I'll work on that one. We'll get there.
We'll workshop it later today.
Wait, actually, I just can't. If it's a hit, then I have to keep talking the coronavirus robot. I can't
Oh, man.
use my robot voice on coronavirus. I have to save it for something else. We should send a robot against right-leaning white supremacists. Maybe that'll be the easiest.
That'd be
thing.
really interesting.
Yeah, Killbot.
It's just
So you're saying post-COVID? You were saying post-COVID?
Yeah, go ahead.
Just dreaming, looking toward the future, trying to just tell our own story and not just reacting to the annoyances of COVID or the annoyances of these cult of personalities. For me, the annoyances of a cult-like financial instrument that is going to take down my specific generation's wealth over time.
Jeez Louise.
Going out to eat maybe would be fun. Seeing a concert.
Nice, yeah, having a nice meal. Having a nice meal.
Cooking a show. Actually, the movie theater today, I went by it was very active today. And I was like, oh, everyone's going to the movies. There was a bomb scare. And I definitely got to see a bomb scare at the AMC today when we were going in and out of Dick's Sporting Goods.
What made you think it was active? It was like a line out?
I saw the big truck, the bomb squad truck, going into the where it was a parking garage. So it was going up into the parking garage, and there was cops everywhere, and they had evacuated everybody to the outskirts. And then like they had people like walking in and out, and I watched like a bomb squad car go up into it. So I thought, must be a bomb scare.
Might as well just write, there's a bomb in the building that I'm driving to.
Well,
on the side of the truck.
somebody. Well, yeah, no, but I mean, somebody must have called it in like a thing. So then they were like, we have to check it out.
Yeah.
So that they were everywhere, but the cops were everywhere. It was very kind of silly.
Probably someone who couldn't get a vaccine appointment. Like,
Somebody-
if
but,
I
like-
can't see Batman 11, no one's seeing Batman 11.
I just like the idea that I actually don't like the idea, but it's like, oh, everything's opening up. Let's just fuck with their day because everyone wants to go see a movie who hasn't seen a movie in a year and a half. You know what? Fuck them. Let me just call it a bomb scare and just really ruin everybody's day. It's just such a really. I hope that person stubs their toe really hard. Like
What a knucklehead.
yeah, goddamn knuckleheads.
Well, I'm actually interested to hear that people are even hitting the theater again. I mean, that was one of those industries people are like, oh, yeah, I got a 50-inch TV. I'm never going back. A lot of people were just like signing that one off for dead.
I don't know. I can't. And there's no. That's when I'd be like, no. People love going to the movies. I know that people have big screens in their house, but
It's
for
not the
me,
same.
I need. Yeah, it's not this. Well, you got a pretty big screen in your basement.
It's
didn't.
it's very close to a theater experience.
Yeah, it is actually. Now I was like, as soon
Well,
as I
you
was
sit
Austin,
closer to it, but
we
I
watched.
can imagine anything else though is not as good.
Yeah, we watched The Mandalorian down there, and there's a great moment where it cuts to an IMAX. They shot it so the screen opens up into this big giant. And I
I
actually
think it was 16:9 for the whole episode, and then all of a sudden this big monster comes out of the sand, and you just see the borders lift up. It was insane.
And the thing opens, and then I was like, whoa! I went back. The TV was big enough to where I felt the change and
That's
everything,
awesome.
and
Yeah,
I was
that's cool.
very glad. Yeah, that's cool.
I mean, as a...
So I guess yes, movie theaters are dead, and then going back, yeah, movie theaters are fucking dead.
Maybe someone was calling and asking, like, hey, are the movie theaters dead? Like, when we come in? And someone's like, you're going to come kill people? What? Someone like is overreacting.
So this movie's bombing right now, or what?
Yeah,
What is even out right now?
I don't know.
I have no clue. I have no idea. I have not seen like commercials for movies. Boss Level,
I'm just
like
waiting.
the only thing I've heard of.
Boss Level?
A movie with Frank Grillo, and I think that's been out for a month already. That's like the only.
He only knows it because it's Will Sasso's in it. That's it.
Yeah, one of my favorite comedian, Will Sasso's in it.
Called it. I know it. Called it. I know this guy.
But I saw a commercial
that.
for it. That's why it came up.
It's on Hulu.
No shit.
Yeah, it's on
I have
Hulu.
to watch it.
I'm just dying for that Sopranos movie to come out.
Oh, soon, right?
Saints in New York. Or
Seriously?
Newark.
Yeah. Joey Diaz is in it.
Of course.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's like, because everyone says he looks like everybody in Sopranos, and finally he was actually in the Sopranos movie as like a big,
That is
big
comical.
gangster.
That's
so
very
good.
funny.
Well, because I remember they were talking about him filming it, and he kept he wasn't supposed to mention it, but he like mentioned it or something, and he's like filming the Sopranos, and I was like, oh,
God damn.
and then they just had a teaser for the Friends reunion too, which is in the same vein, right?
Wow.
How did they keep a lid on that?
They didn't. It was actually supposed to be released before COVID.
Oh, yeah?
And then for HBO Max, when HBO Max came out, one of the initial offerings was supposed to be the Friends reunion, so people would jump and buy it. And then COVID happened, and then everything got.
Actually, I did see one thing for the Friends reunion. It looked like it was packed full of guest stars or like celebrities, which terrifies me that it's going to be shitty.
Yeah, that does terrify me. But that, Friends was always really big into the guest stars, right? They always would have like
Yeah, they
really
were.
mainstream. Brad Pitt would come in and
Paul
just
Rudd.
John Favreau.
Favreau. Did you hear Conan's going to be on HBO Max now?
Yeah, he's gonna have
He's
a variety
leaving
show.
TBS.
Yeah, he's done.
Oh, that makes me
Conan's
happy.
over.
Yeah.
That's great news. I always thought he belonged on like an HBO where he could like talk about masturbating bears or something. That
I think he's going. I think it's a variety show. It sounded like they're
Really?
doing a
That'll be
variety
interesting.
show. Yeah, but good for him, right? He's doing Conan, and then TBS shortened it to like a half an hour, and then it's like slow. I don't want to say slow death, but it was the slow death of him on TBS. Because TBS wasn't made for late night hosts.
how do any of them survive? It's tough.
Yeah.
Who even watches the Daily Show anymore? Do you guys watch the Daily Show?
I don't, and
Trevor
I've
Noah?
noticed that Trevor Noah has not gone back to the studio. He's still in his house.
Why would you go back to the
Right.
studio, right?
Like,
If you
he's
just
still
do the
in
whole
his
show
house.
from your couch.
No, yeah, I think it's interesting that he still hasn't gone in. Where a lot of other late night hosts, I feel like maybe not rushed back.
Jimmy Kimmel went back and forth.
But
Jimmy
like-
Kimmel was there and then
Right.
went back and then went back home again.
He just had his first in studio guest, which was really funny.
Oh, did he?
Because he was like, and it was only one guy. They could only get one guy in, and they picked one random guy, and
Speaking of late night hosts that went back, Bill Maher, he ended up getting coronavirus.
I saw that, and he was
Really?
vaccinated,
He was vaccinated, yeah.
and so yeah. It was really
But he's
interesting.
fine. He's like he's in his 60s, so he's like, you want to be concerned, obviously take it seriously, whatever. But suppose he's like asymptomatic. That's like the best
Oh.
outcome you could hope for. You get vaccinated, and it's like
Right.
you just shit that COVID-19 out.
I was just
Shit
gonna
it outta
say shit
ya.
and piss it out. Right. Good for him, pissing it all out. Yeah, but I definitely heard that he got it, and I heard five team members of the Yankees got it, and they're all vaccinated. So there's like breakthroughs going on.
There has
Yeah.
to be like a slip up somewhere. There's got to be
Well,
someone.
there's
who-
100 people in the Yankees club, and if it's even 90%,
Yeah, I
that's
was
10
gonna say,
of the people.
yeah,
that makes sense.
95% effective, and there's 100 million people. That's 5 million people that are still getting infected, right? Did I do the math right? Or
Yeah, and even the math on, that's like for the original version, and now there's variants that has a different,
well, the things that are
efficacy, so-
coming out of India truly scare me. Like the idea that
it's
like
terrible.
it could become more deadly as
That's-
well as super
Or it is.
infectious.
Supposedly it is, right?
Yeah, that's what they're saying. And because it's just a hotbed of mutation, and you know what I mean. There's no. As of now, looks like there's no like protection or any stopgap. It looks like it's just raging right now, and so it's like how soon before And I know they've already seen the variants in Canada and everything, and I'm sure it's already in America, right? So I don't know. It's just kind of scary.
You got to hope that the vaccine is still somewhat effective against the variants, right?
Yeah, it's showing that it is the B whatever variant, but it's just the way India is just like.
You said hotbed. Yeah, that's literally what they are. They're mutating at
You know?
a rapid rate, right?
20 million people a day getting infected or some shit like that. Like,
Yeah, and it's like coinciding with other world phenomenon, like the wood prices are through the roof, so like they don't even have the wood to keep people like in coffins, and people, I guess,
burning the bodies. Yeah.
Bodies are being floated just down waterways now because they don't even have the ability to cremate everyone.
And now, people.
This is my bad. I brought up coronavirus. The
Yeah,
Bill
yeah, I
Maher
was
thing
thinking
was
about it.
triggering.
Yeah.
Did you have Bill Maher on your list?
I did.
He was on there.
Yeah. John Oliver, Bill Maher.
Did you have? I'm trying to. You said pretty much everyone of all time. Dick Cavett, is Dick Cavett on there?
Yeah, Dick
Damn it,
Cavett.
yeah,
Under
you do have
Carson.
everyone. God, he does have a good list here. I can touch it now since it's post-COVID.
I'm sure there's some people I forgot.
Carol
There's
Burnett?
Somebody I've got. Carol Burnett. Yeah, she had a variety show. I didn't want to count her.
Matt
But yeah.
did this in mere moments. He did this in moments.
Well, he said it before we were talking about it. He said, "You really like all that television history shit," and I was like, "Kind of. I got a bit obsessed with late night hosts."
television history shit.
Yeah,
I
to
got
downplay
respect.
it.
I got respect.
I even got
Dude.
Pat Sajak and Chevy Chase on there, and then Arsenio Hall. I almost forgot Arsenio Hall, and if I would have forgotten him, I feel like I would have done a big disservice. to
Forgot
Late
Larry
Night Hosts.
Sanders too.
Oh, that
Gary Shandling actually
Yeah,
did
he
do
did. He
the
guest
Tonight
hosted
Show.
a bunch. That's why he did the Sandler Gary Sandling show, because he guest hosted so much and he wanted to do that. Oh my god!
How could you? How could you?
How could you?
And I wanted to save
You
that.
can use
but
mine if you
forget
can read
about
it.
it.
It's
Forget
bound
about
to be. I think I got one more category.
Music
here.
or podcast, vaccine proof, distance, social faux pas, social pas, distance. I like the way you write, Austin. It's very-
Horribly, like if I put a pen in my mouth and try to do it.
You look like when I take mushrooms. That's like how I feel reading your writing.
Oh, like an artist does a portrait
Yeah.
sober and then on acid 4 hours later, and it's like just triangles and 2 circles.
I like the guy who's going through dementia and he painted himself.
That's
as he's
terrifying.
going
That's
through dementia.
horrifying.
And the paintings became sadder and sadder and sadder.
There's an album like that resembles it. What's it called? Everything at the End of Time. It's by Caretaker, I think. It's like 5 hours long. It starts off high fidelity, and it's very old 50s music, and then it has like 8 different acts or like 6 different acts. And each one, it gets more and more degraded, and you can't hear any melodies anymore until the end where it's just white noise.
That's pretty haunting.
Yeah.
That would get to me. Like it's like a soundscape almost.
Dementia. Is that the word?
No, dementia is not the word.
For
A secret.
Yeah, secret word. I totally forgot.
oh,
Yeah.
that's right. We actually didn't do that.
Oh, so you had to just say
It was. It
I
was
just tapped
all-
his knee because
it-
our knees bumped.
the
That's why I
word's
tapped
album,
it.
isn't it?
Oh, that's right. You did tap my knee. Actually, the word was Alzheimer's.
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 Lou Gehrig's disease.
Lou Gehrig's.
I have a few more of these guys here. 2 more. At
Let's
least.
see, yeah.
Can I give you guys a quick one?
Throw 'em out.
What comes up when I give you the word? And this is going to be very anti-corona. It's totally opposite of corona. So don't think about COVID-19. I want to hear what you think of for incredible.
The Incredibles.
I need a new one. You can't use the word in the word.
The Greats. Incredible.
The greats.
Frozone.
The Deeces.
Incredible edible.
Incredible edible. Okay. You're getting your rhyming dictionary down. I like
That was just that was the second
For the
thing. It's
lyrics
like,
are
oh yeah,
Incredible, Matt.
Shrinking Man. I don't know.
Incredible Shrinking Man.
Yeah, that's
pretty
it's
good.
Comic booky,
Yeah,
right?
it is.
That's
That's like there's an old movie, The Incredible Shrinking Man. It's like an old short story, I think, by Richard Matheson.
Did they used to use the word incredible for like everything back in the
Incredible.
day?
The Amazing
amazing.
Spider-Man. The
Yeah.
Incredible Hulk.
What is with that? Can you explain that to me? Like, what the hell?
Why that they did that for like comic book characters?
Did
or?
it just look good in like block lettering on a comic? Or?
Well, no, I mean, it also gave like it zhuzhes it up, right? It's like
Zhuzh.
the Amazing Spider-Man, the Spectacular Spider-Man, the Incredible Hulk, the Uncanny X-Men, right?
I mean,
Marvel
the
was
dude's swinging
very
from
good.
webs he made, right? You're not gonna be like, okay, Spider-Man. It's probably got to be like the biggest word possible, right? Astonishing.
Marvel, yeah, the Astonishing X-Men.
Even the name Marvel. It's a Marvel, right?
Exactly. It's to add effect and zhuzh and make it seem. I've used that word like 4 times.
Is
tonight.
that
I
the
love it.
secret word?
No, it should be that. It's got just like adds an air of like impressiveness.
it gussies it up. Just trying to come up with other zhuzhes.
I'm sure Stan Lee had
Dresses.
a reason why he would do that. Like, there's a reason behind it.
Yeah, they had to fill countless front covers of these comic books and like just make a fourth of it font for Christ's sakes, please.
The Mighty Thor, right? The Earth's Mightiest Avengers, right? That's they all had like a tagline.
Well, I'm wondering like if one person did it, the Amazing Spider-Man, and then everyone's like, oh, yeah, you just got to put an adjective before the character name.
I
Like
think what
if
it-
it was just simply parody.
So
Or-
I don't know if this is true, but I know the first comic book Spider-Man was in was actually called Amazing Fantasy, right? So he debuted in Amazing Fantasy. So I'm wondering if they made the Amazing Spider-Man because he debuted in Amazing Fantasy. Like they carried that over to make people as like a brand recognition thing, right? Oh, it's amazing, right? Oh, he's the same.
No, that makes sense.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Word association, probably.
Back then too, I mean, all society in existing was terrible too. So you want to contrast it with the Amazing, right?
The Amazing
Spectacular-
Polio.
Spectacular Spider-Man. The amazing. All of these are like Spider-Man has had all of these taglines. It's very funny. Yeah. But also too, like long term, like X-Men was like the X-Men, and then they became the Uncanny X-Men, and then there's been the Astonishing X. So they've used it to like differentiate different points of time. You know what I mean? Throughout. you
Like
know?
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers versus. Do they have like intergalactic?
The Dino Rangers,
Star?
I think.
The Mighty Morphin Power Rangers have always been the Mighty Morphin. They've never been the Incredible Morphin or anything.
They didn't switch the adjectives. at the beginning?
I don't think so. I don't think, as far as I know. Hey, Power Rangers fans out there, correct me if I'm wrong.
They're screaming at the monitors.
Sorry, I should do that one.
If we got any Capcom heads in the house,
You do both.
hook us.
See if
Is
you
it
can-
Capcom? Bandai?
Saban.
Namco.
Saban.
Saban?
Yeah,
I
Saban.
gotta
He
do
so
Japanese.
Saban he actually got the rights to the show, right? The Japanese show. Okay, so it's a Japanese show, Power Rangers,
Yeah.
right? So he bought the license to the show, but he knew that because it was Japanese, it would not translate. So he hired a bunch of kid actors, and so they basically like spliced
yeah.
the Super Sentai Rangers, which is the name of the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Really?
Yeah, Super Sentai Warriors, into what is now what we know as the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. So we got all like LA kid, Americanized versions of people. So what you see, that's why I don't know if you noticed the Yellow Ranger, who's Trini, who's in Trini, she's an Asian woman. In the show, it was a guy. So like the Yellow Ranger is a man, and like the Pink Ranger is pink and she's got a dress, but she's the only one. So it's like, I don't want to say flat chested. It's like a man's proportion as the Yellow Ranger.
I never
so it's always
connected
really
that
silly.
dot. I was also 5 years old when I was
Yeah.
watching this.
And here you go. Here you know what Billy here. This you'll love this one. This will tie it all back together, kind of. You know what Billy the Blue Ranger's last name is?
I would say Billy
Strings.
Butt Kicker.
Billy Cranston. And do you know why his name is Billy Cranston?
No.
Who's another Cranston that we all
Bryan
know?
Cranston.
Yes,
yeah.
he was a big integral crew member on the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Like he was a big part of that show, and they literally named Billy's last name off of him.
Oh,
and
not the actor. The actual guy in the show's name is Billy Cranston.
Yeah, Billy Cranston.
Sorry, I thought you were saying the actor.
Is the character's name, and he was named after Bryan Cranston, who is also Zordon in the new Power Rangers movie.
Okay.
To tie it all back together.
My mind is exploding. Yeah. You tell me Bryan Cranston worked on the original
Power Rangers. That's
movies?
why Billy's last name is Bryan Cranston or Billy Cranston. Yeah.
So Bryan Cranston was on Seinfeld, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Malcolm in the Middle.
Friends, probably.
I was gonna
he's in
say
everything.
Breaking Bad next was gonna be mine, but
Breaking Bad. How I Met Your Mother.
Oh,
He's in
yeah.
dear
He's
Lord.
in- Also, Bob Odenkirk is in How I Met Your Mother, and they're both Marshall's boss, which I think is really interesting. Because
Oh, yeah.
they're both lawyers and the whole thing.
I just watched
The architect,
Nobody. I was
yeah.
telling Austin about that.
How good was that? I haven't seen it yet. I really want to see it. Is it good?
It was good. It was good. He can pull off the half actiony, half funny stuff.
Yeah.
Unbelievably.
I just like him a lot, and that style of movie, like, I just can't take anymore, and so he like kind of rages.
It
I
was
like
a
that.
little torture porny.
Yeah.
Back to the what we were talking about
Like
earlier.
John Wick.
Okay, but to see, okay, so for me, torture porn is like when people are like helpless at the mercy of like a victimizer.
Saw?
Like if so then that's it.
Well,
But if he's like a hero,
Well, he's a guy
vigilante.
that is getting shit on, a guy that's sick of taking this crap, and then it's like a rage fantasy type thing.
Mhm, yeah.
Rage fantasy.
why I wanna
Especially with
watch
COVID now, everyone's locked in their house. They want that rage fantasy. Want to rip off these masks.
It's kind of what Joker was, right? It was a rage fantasy movie. You know what I mean? The guy on the
God.
fringes. And then
Speaking of bomb threats at a movie, a dude walked in through the emergency exit with a backpack on, and I was like, "Fucking
When you saw Joker,
yeah!" The movie about the dude fucking rebelling and killing everyone. I was like, "Oh God, this is it."
We
My
all
friend
remember-
went to the bathroom, so I like couldn't look at him and go, "Is this normal?" He came in through the door, and then a cop came in 10 seconds later. But I think it's because he broke into a movie theater and got a free ticket rather than trying to bomb the.
or he
fucking
was
thing.
running from somebody. And
Yeah,
just,
or
But
something.
either way, that's scary as shit.
Oh, yeah.
That was the guy that did it in the theater in Denver. It was during the Dark Knight?
Rises, Dark Knight
Dark Knight
Rises.
Rises.
Aurora.
Yeah.
Aurora, Colorado.
I can see his stupid face.
I
with
totally
his
forgot his
orange hair,
name.
But yeah, that's good. That's good. We don't need to say his
Probably right. Good idea. Probably mention his name.
Forget about that Joker. Let's forget about that Joker.
Forget that knucklehead.
But
Joker.
yeah, that's yeah. Fucked up shit.
About to be a bit of fucked up shit.
See what else I got here. Craig Ferguson. He is honestly one of my all-time favorite late night hosts. Like I would put him on my Rushmore, like my personal Rushmore. Because he like.
You're
my
talking
God.
about Drew Carey's boss.
Yeah, yes, I am. But he's got I love his accent.
Yeah.
And just he had
I like Jeff the robot.
oh yeah,
I
Jeff.
saw a video on YouTube clips. I didn't see it live, but I just love the harmonica bit.
I follow the guy that created him on Instagram, and I followed him before I even knew that he was actually who he was. And I was like, oh my God, I like
Really?
you. And I didn't know, you know who else invented Jeff the robot is Grant Imahara, the guy from Mythbusters who passed away.
Oh,
he was the guy
man.
who like designed
Yeah.
and made Jeff
This
the robot.
Jeffrey that you speak. Who is he? What
So-
robot?
So in at a certain point in Craig Ferguson, he gets like a sidekick, and the sidekick is Geoff, and he's a skeleton. he's like a robot skeleton and somebody voices him, and he's got like a suit coat on and a mohawk, and he's literally like a robot skeleton.
He's got
and
glowing
just,
blue
like,
eyes.
and he just kind of clacks around, and it's like a comedian voices him, and so he like it's hilarious.
So when we had the skeleton on the 5th episode of this podcast,
Oh, yeah.
was
That
that,
could- yeah.
somehow Jeff's like callback?
It was. Yeah, it is. Do you guys self a favor. Go on YouTube and look up Craig Ferguson's interviews with Robin Williams, and you will not laugh. You will, yeah, even though you'd be sad because you miss Robin, because I do miss Robin, you will still laugh your fucking ass off because they're just hilarious together. Actually, look up any late night appearance with Robin Williams. I went through the Johnny Carson ones, and he's just so fun. I mean, totally coked out of his mind, but hilarious.
Right.
Hilarious.
So silver lining. At least he's funny, right, guys?
Yeah. But anyways, you just ending on my late night topic. I could go more. I could actually. Yeah. Craig Ferguson, guys, check him out.
Well, look, late night, that's like, unofficial parents for any child that stays up later than their parent. I mean, right? You're taking in so much at that age.
That and
at that time.
MASH reruns.
I turned MASH off like it was the plague when that
Oh,
shit
I
came out.
love MASH.
No way, dude. That's slow music. Yeah. Like there's a helicopter that would be.
Oh,
in the
that's
beginning.
Taxi. I'm doing Taxi. I'm totally doing Taxi.
It felt right though.
It
yeah.
did. It did. But it's the same vein. But I'm totally doing Taxi. I love that theme song.
That
Taxi's
part
a
of the
great show.
brain.
The best was seeing MASH on the TV guide, going past it when I was a little kid, seeing that blue Comcast guide and then M star, A star, S star, S star. I was like, I'm not going to watch that ever. And I just went past it.
Pretty ballsy move to use those stars in there.
Yeah,
You're
right.
punching in between each letter.
Because it's medical. I can't remember. It's like MASH stands for something, right?
You tell me. Medical alert.
alert airstrip.
Serviceman. Hello.
Siri, what does that MASH mean? Hello.
There are 47-year-olds livid right now listening to this podcast. Like,
They don't know MASH. They're being disrespectful.
fucking kids. First, this guy in blue doesn't know Jeff the robot, or
Jeff. I think it's Jeff.
now they're mismashing MASH.
Bastards.
I was looking for a nice, smooth episode of The Simpsons late night like that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
wanted something calming. Maybe a quick masturbating bear on Conan, just ease the tensions a little bit.
Yeah, I definitely watch so much of that late night stuff though on YouTube before I go to bed. I find myself going into it.
Who's your number one like late night memory person? Like
Probably Conan. I've seen the most episodes from him. He used to watch Conan when I was a little boy. I used to walk in his room and he'd be watching like Conan or something. Or Stephen Colbert. That and Stephen Colbert was the big thing that he used to watch.
Actually, the Colbert Report.
Colbert
It's not
Report,
even
yeah.
fair because it's so short and whatnot. It's like such high quality shit.
Yeah.
Though.
Oh
My
man, that
God.
was such a tight show.
God,
And the
so
way he
good.
was so good at lampooning, like, oh man, he was so good at like getting Republicans on, and then they didn't know what to do with him, because he'd be like, George Bush, great president or greatest president, and they'd be like,
That's like the This Is America with Sacha Baron Cohen, where like he plays a character and then gets them to come up with another character. Like
I need to watch that show still.
that
Yeah,
was- I
it's
can't
good.
find it. I was trying to look for it, and I
think
had
it's
like
on
I had to buy the
HBO?
whole season or something.
Is
Is
it
it
on
HBO?
I thought it was. I thought it was
Showtime.
HBO.
Showtime. Did you guys see
That's
Borat 2?
No.
Yeah,
Subsequent movie film,
I
whatever.
saw a
it's called?
subsequent movie film. Have you seen it?
No.
It's okay.
What are we missing?
You're not really. I mean, it's like it's. How do you strike? How does lightning strike twice at that point? Or
tough.
what's the saying? I forgot what it was. But how do you strike gold twice? I guess it's hard.
It is hard.
There was a couple
Actually,
parts that were funny because it's about like Trump and all that stuff, and they once
it?
they get
It is.
there's a couple parts where it's like these people are ridiculous, and they have them on film doing all this dumb shit.
The
But
whole subtitle was like that he originally had was like Borat to give subsequent pornographic movie film to Vice President of the United States. That was
Mike
like the
Pence,
full
yeah.
title, and it
always
was like
bringing Pence porn. That's funny.
right. That was like what it was, because he wanted to bring them, and then
his
he brings
daughter
his
actually,
daughter,
he was
right.
offering his
Right.
daughter to him. It's ridiculous.
That part I thought was interesting. He has a girl, and then I don't know if we talked about the Giuliani kerfuffle with him and putting his hands down his pants, and
We may have.
that
50
that
episodes
came
or
out
something.
right. I know. I try to remember, but it's
the kerfuffle.
that. Yeah, right. That's how I'm going to describe that. His borderline
word.
sexual harassment. Yeah. Yeah, it was that all came out from
You
Borat.
said, right as I said great word, you said borderline sexual harassment. So I felt like I was like affirming the concept of borderline sexual harassment. That's great. You mean borderline sexual harassment?
James. Good
I
lord.
didn't know
Good
what I
lord.
was agreeing to here, so I'm
You
just
signed on
gonna
the dotted
inch
line before
out
it printed.
the door. Yeah.
Yeah,
too much.
I don't know. I like Sacha Baron Cohen. I've listened to him just like himself, and he's just a brilliant guy.
Yeah, he
you
is.
know, he's a brilliant guy. He's a guy that's always trying to put up the mirror, and he's like, look what you are. This
I
is
just
what
like
we
him
are."
because he has 3 names. So
And you can relate.
James McGrath, Sacha Baron Cohen. I see him as an equal.
Yeah.
4 named people are the only ones I really put on a pedestal above us.
Give me a 4-name person.
Prince William of Wales. I don't know.
Of Lancaster.
Jon Snow of something.
You don't really have a middle name in that case. If it's 4,
Castle. Yeah.
you have 2 outer middle names. You don't really have a full middle name.
Yeah, is it if you have 3 names and then you have a quote unquote middle name after the first name?
I got it. My sister had a friend growing up, and his name was John Todd. Oh no, John Todd Wally, but that's only 3. I thought there was another one. Fuck, I missed it. There was something.
just
with a
lie,
middle
add
name.
one. Just
No, I don't
actually-
want. I don't want to.
we should be saying like celebrities anyway, picking people in the public. Actually, that could be like a stunting move, is like forcing people to try to remember as many of your names as possible. That or like picking like a name from like every major marketing demographic in the United States. Like if your name was Smith Mohammed Ramirez Smith.
Vladimir.
Smith, Muhammad Washington.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Tapping some founding fathers.
You
shit
got
in
it.
there.
Yeah, Young, Quan. Ramirez is good. Like some
Something.
like common Smith, Ramirez, Washington.
Just doing based on like Google search engine
Yeah.
optimization, like 100%. How has that not happened
El
yet?
Muhammad.
But
Well, they literally can do fake pictures of people, right? Where it's like, here's a human that doesn't exist.
Oh,
Here's
yeah.
taking all of the different features. So like, why could they do that with a name and just make homogenize a name?
I'm thinking about it now. It's actually funny. The most famous, I would say, named people have unique names: Bono, Cher, Oprah, Trump, Elon, like Kanye. A lot of times they're like
Carson.
not many Kanyes.
They're all like they all have
LeBron.
like their own name. It's not like
LeBron's a good one.
Yeah.
Bob Billingsley. It's like there's a lot of Bobs.
Right.
It's easier. It's almost like the move
Warren
is
Buffett.
anti-SEO.
Yeah.
How many Warrens, right? That's probably old school name.
Elizabeth Warren, but that's her last name.
But in terms of like building brand or like
Yeah.
name brand recognition, Trump even.
Kobe.
I mean, Donald's common, but
Kobe. I think
Kobe.
superstars, sports stars are really good at doing that. Like they have like the tagline, like brand name that they can have. Like it's because it's part of part of
Shaq.
a brand. Yeah, it's part of a brand. MJ, Michael Jordan. Jordan is just like he gets his own brand.
yeah, but those are both common names. That's an example against my example.
MJ, but like MJ, I guess it's only one word.
Jumpman. Yeah,
Spider-Man's
he-
girlfriend. What do you mean?
Easy Tiger.
Easy Tiger.
That works. That does work though.
Yeah, I guess.
So you could still make a go of it. You can still take a common name.
Yeah.
I mean, we're making it happen here, but I'm saying a lot of times it's like you need to be, Bono. Who's named Bono? Bono.
I think it's
That's
like
who's named Bono.
it's something in a different language. It's not his real name. It's like what, one love or something, or peace. I forget what it means.
That
Is
made
it
me roll my
Gaelic?
eyes.
It's
Tell me
Gaelic.
it's Gaelic.
It's Gaelic, I think.
For real?
Yeah.
Oh, it's gay. Like, all right. Sorry, guys.
See, this is the Irish thing I was talking about.
Jesus.
Even us in this podcast, we're busting Bono's balls. It's like, give me a break.
Well, his balls need to be busted.
Friggin' Bono.
Great South Park episode about how he's a piece of shit.
Oh
That
my
episode.
God! What a punchline!
It is.
The
it is.
whole
Yeah,
episode.
it's so funny.
Holy shit!
Another brilliant show.
He's the
Brilliant
world
show.
record shit.
Topical. It's a very topical show.
Matt and Trey,
Yeah.
fellow Matt.
Well, yeah. That's why I like him.
That's when, to be honest, though, when I saw that Bono South Park episode and like the huge shit thing at the end, I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm getting a little old for this show.
Oh, really?
I'm serious.
That was perfect age for me. I was like
Wow.
12 or 10.
I was
at the time.
watching. I was like in 5th grade when it came out, whatever the fuck. So I was like, oh, that's like the pinnacle of like edgy shit. When you're like 10 years old, whatever it is, 11 years old.
A towel getting high,
Towel, yeah.
That was major at the time.
It
Back
was.
then, only people's dogs and pilots were getting high. Now it's towels and
There were all sorts of
What's
stuff.
next? Are snakes getting high?
should. Let's talk about concepts for marketing, concepts for brands. High snakes. That could do.
Snakes on a plane. That's where it led to. High elevation snakes. Snakes on
They
a plane.
did put the snakes on drugs in that movie.
I think so.
Did they
were-
really?
They were on like an aggression pheromone or something. Do you remember?
Oh,
They were
That's why
like,
they made him
They're
sound
like,
they
we
would
need
juice
snakes
them up.
high.
Get
Yeah.
these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane. Oh, what are we at? What's the time here? Let's see.
1 hour and 30 minutes.
40.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yeah, we flew. Yeah, I knew. I was just, I was letting it ride.
So I felt it. Like I felt it a while ago, and I was like, wow, I think we're over an hour.
Yeah, this is a good point. I'll never be able to export this video if it gets any longer. We'll just have to do another
It says
one.
did not record in all caps on that.
my
I don't know what
God.
that means. I can't read, but
Oh, I have this thing where I have my computer give terrifying notices when it's actually functioning perfectly because it makes me a better artist.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I
I
misread.
panic and it makes me perform at a higher level. Anyway, I feel like we really went over it. By it, I mean the sum of all history. So thank you guys for going over it.
I have historically been on the longest
Happy
podcast.
50th, everyone.
Happy 50th.
Damn, that was
I didn't-
good. That was good.
I'll clean
Party
that up.
tricks.
I'll clean that up. Don't worry.
That's okay. I'll have the cleaner come in and do it. By that I mean
Somebody
me
shuffles out,
at
yeah.
11:30
Someone
tonight.
comes from the door.
And then you'll be like, God, fucking Matt. You know, why that fucking son of a bitch?
Yeah, a cigarette hanging out of my mouth. Motherfucking bullshit.
I kind of wish I had a cigarette for this. Like just sitting here like with the ashtray.
Stinking up the gear.
Very old school. Yeah, right. You fucking tech nerd. Here, you get a smoke in this fucking...
I would love to do some podcasts where we're just ripping off Carson's old stage setup or whatever, and we're trying to emulate like a Carson episode. Maybe we
Okay.
can even shoot it in black and white.
Okay, I tell you what. You could be Carson as long as I can be Don Rickles, and I will come out and be Don Rickles. You play the music for me, dun dun dun. I'll totally do the whole thing. Anyways, oh man, I could totally do Rickles. I can't, but I could try.
We'll have to figure this out.
That'd be so much fun.
Yeah, and maybe we can shift. We'll do like a Conan part.
I could be McMahon. Yeah, we could do through
That
the.
was
We'll do
good,
the.
dude. That was good.
We'll do the faces.
McMahon would be next. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hot diggity.
All right, I guess that's it, gentlemen. Thanks for 50. I'm glad we did it. Can't believe it.
And
Insane.
thank you all, of course, for listening to every single moment. Obviously, everyone is still with us. We
Unless you passed from COVID.
Statistically.
so people
Really
actually
tasteless joke.
Yeah. Way to end it.
no, actually, it's representative. As hard as we may try, COVID's still on our mind. You can't get your brain off of it. It's impossible. Anyway, we'll keep working it off of our mental hard drives. Dude, you want to come back? You want to run back on another one? I want you to leave ashamed of that.
I can't.
All right, everyone. The
it's
end is
like-
fleeting. You know,
Dying
speaking of
of
never-ending
COVID.
becoming,
Here.
you died of COVID.
Do the confetti one more time.
Oh
Here.
my God.
Pick it up together.
I think I made a horrible gay joke, and then I said something about people dying of COVID.
So you're just trying new things. You're experimenting. You're podcast
Let's
experimenting.
try new things, everybody.
Try new things. We'll see you next time, everyone. We'll be trying all sorts of new shit. Bye.